It's something to go with dinner, Chris, because football once again is on the marquee this Thursday night, and the lead in this made-for-TV movie is The Man. All over, the buzz is about the Yellow Jackets quarterback who's wowing the critics. No ordinary Joe. He can beat you with the run or the throw. He could be MVP of the ACC. He is The Man. Go get your popcorn. The Man takes center stage, and we'll roll him next. Worth of tradition, rub Howard's Rock and take the field. The 100-foot run down the hill for the 267th time. The Clemson Tigers take that dash onto the turf here in Death Valley to take on Georgia Tech here in the ACC. Welcome to the start of the football weekend. Thursday Night Football on ESPN. Mike Tirico with Todd Blackledge. Well, Georgia Tech is 6-2, Todd. They're in the top 25. Their quarterback's 5'10". He doesn't have the strongest throwing arm in the country, but he may be the MVP of this league.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Man is two things. He's a fierce competitor, and he's a playmaker. He makes big plays, and he does it a lot of different ways. He can throw the football out of the pocket. He's also a very dangerous runner. He's thrown 14 touchdown passes, only 5 interceptions. You also have to respect him on the option or when he gets outside of the pocket. But the greatest development in Joe Hamilton over these 3 years is his improvement as a decision maker. They're giving him more of the offense at the line of scrimmage, and his ability to get other guys the football and get them involved, that's why Georgia Tech's winning this year.
For as good as his numbers are, the defense's numbers are horrible. They've given up almost 400 yards a game, last in the ACC in rush defense, but I'll tell you what, without the Georgia Tech defense, this team isn't 6-2. Explain that.
Well, not all their numbers are terrible, Mike. They're a big play defense to go with that big play offense. They lead the ACC in sacks. They're third in scoring defense, but most importantly, they forced 19 turnovers this year. But they go one step further than that. They don't just force turnovers, the defense scores. 6 times this year, they forced a fumble out of a quarterback, and the defense has returned it for a touchdown. It's a big play defense.
That one against Virginia changed that game and may have changed their season. A defense that turns it over a lot, not a very good equation for Clemson. To explain that, third member of our team, here's Dr. Jerry Punch. Doc?
Thank you very much, Michael, and hello, everyone. You know, if you were to scan the video of the 1998 Clemson football season, you would be hard-pressed to understand why this football team's record is 2-7 instead of 7-2. They have played just that well at times, but as you said, turnovers have been their Achilles heel. Their 27 giveaways have them ranked 110th in the nation in turnover margin. That directly relates to a very young and inexperienced offensive backfield. But in their last outing against NC State, junior quarterback Brandon Streeter was brilliant. He set 4 records at Clemson here in the second half and led his team back twice in the fourth quarter to take the lead. The players say this is a night for redemption here in Death Valley. This is a night to salvage some respect for the reputation of Clemson football. And this is also a night for them to make a statement on behalf of a head coach who truly cares.
Jerry, that man is 44-year-old Tommy West, who is embattled right now. The articles when we came to town, not that this guy may get fired, but naming names that the AD talked to about replacing this guy. Tough situation for Tommy West. On the opposite sideline, George O'Leary, age 52, was the defensive coordinator here, has Tech on the road to a second straight bowl. His first game as Georgia Tech head coach was right here at Clemson. The Tigers won the toss, deferring the option of the second half, so Georgia Tech will receive, and that means Des White, who's taken 2 back already this year, one of the top kick returners in the country, 13th in his average. Brian Smith will kick off for Clemson. Temperature is 50 degrees. We'll get down into the 40s this evening, but it's a perfect night for football. And we're underway with Tech in the road white. From a yard deep, Des White. Well covered by Clemson. White goes down at the 13-yard line. Charles Hafley leading the secondary charge. Here's the offense for Georgia Tech. Todd told you about Joe Hamilton. Joe Burns, freshman running back, coming off 179 yards in Georgia Tech's last game. He is a true freshman. The wide receivers, Des White, had a 243-yard game this year. He's 9th in the country in yards per game at 105. Up front, not a very distinguished group. Craig Page is the senior and the leader of the Yellow Jacket front. Opening drive starting from their own 12. Hamilton to the air right away. To Des White, brought down at the 19 by Dexter Polite, and he will be part of the Clemson defensive story. This is a good defense. Second stingiest for yards in the ACC. Adrian Dingle tied for the conference second spot with 9 sacks this year. The linebackers, I want you to keep an eye on Chris Jones. The middle backer is the leading tackler. He stepped into the hole left by Simmons, who left for the NFL last year. In the secondary, Polite we highlight because Antoine Edwards, their stud cornerback, out this game with an injury. After the pickup of 6, the freshman Burns. It's about 2.5. It'll be 3rd and 1, and we already see an excited Clemson defense.
Well, Clemson will move around on defense a lot now. They'll line up with 4 defensive linemen, but they don't line up and play vanilla defense. They have a lot of activity up front in their front 7, and that is the strength of their defense. A very active front 7. Their weakness clearly in the secondary, and particularly tonight without Antoine Edwards. Joe Hamilton really will test this secondary of Clemson.
Jones will try to stick his nose close to the line. 3rd, about 1.5 yards, and Hamilton forced to take timeout. Clemson defense showing Little Joe a little bit more than they can handle. Step aside. 3rd and 2 for the Yellow Jackets when you come back.
ESPN's presentation of Thursday Night Football is brought to you by Midas. For quality service, visit your neighborhood Midas today. And by Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
We gladly take the welcome from the SO Club just down the road. This place was voted the #1 college sports bar in ESPN, the magazine, right at the start of this season. Well, there's Antoine Edwards, who'd love to be hitting somebody on 3rd and 2, but out with his injury. So Hamilton goes to the air on 3rd and 2. Oh, he tried to tuck it, lost it, got it back, but Georgia Tech will be forced to punt the ball away. Raheem Abdullah was there for really cleanup work.
Well, this is he's got a 1 receiver route. He's got Des White open, but he also knows he only needs a short yardage for the 1st down, so he's going to run, and as he's going to tuck the football away, it just slips out of his hands. Does a nice job of getting on the football, but he would have easily made the 1st down.
Almost looked like his thigh pad. Rodney Williams, big leg, good puncher. May see him in the NFL one day. Travis Zachary back deep to kick. Good hang time on this. Fair catch signaled for and made. A perfect spot for a punt. No place to return a 45-yarder. Williams put him out of bounds at the 39. The Clemson offense takes the field, led by the quarterback Brandon Streeter. Joining him in the backfield is Travis Zachary, who is just back on that punt. A redshirt freshman who's gained nearly 500 yards on the ground this year. Receivers have picked it up. 3 receivers set. They're throwing it around. Brian Wofford over 100 the last 2 games. And on the offensive line, Holland Postel is an NFL caliber player who many scouts are here looking at. A right tackle who's missed only 6 snaps all season. Good field position for the Tigers from the 39 out of the shotgun. Count the number of times I say shotgun tonight. You'll see a lot of it. Streeter the air. Looking for Wofford. Incomplete. Georgia Tech defense. They bend, but they bend you when they force the turnovers. Starting up with the defensive line, Jesse Tarplin. He is the man who's also tied for 2nd with Dingle of Clemson, 9 sacks this year. That linebacking core, Delonta Cameron, the only returning starter for Georgia Tech. He's the leading tackler. And in the secondary, Travaris Tillman does everything. A fumble return, a block kick, an interception, and a sack this season. 2nd and 10, they run out of the gun. Zachary. Right near that Tiger paw at the 45, it's about 5 yards. Well, Todd, we will see shotgun. Why have they gone back to this offense here at Clemson, which was here in '95?
Well, they've gone back to it primarily because their quarterback, Brandon Streeter, had some problems from an ankle injury last spring. He never fully recovered when they started the season. He had lost a little bit of his foot quickness, and so they felt that they weren't able to do the things under center from the I formation that they had normally done. He is better off being in the shotgun. They've been better off as a team the last couple of weeks.
Need to get to the 49 for a first down. 3rd and 5. Offside. Free play. They pick up the first down via the air with Brian Wofford. Probably keep that play because that one gained 6 as opposed to the penalty that gained 5.
And a nice job by both Streeter and Wofford staying with the play. You never know in a situation like that. It's a quick slant. It's a 5-yard route. He barely gets the first down, but a couple broken tackles, that becomes a bigger play than the penalty yardage.
Offside on the defense. Penalty is declined. First down.
Courtney Mosey is our ACC referee tonight, leading this conference officiating crew.
See, you would think if you're in the shotgun so much you can't run the football, but Clemson can still run the football because a lot of their formations still have a tight end and 2 wide receivers. It's normal personnel. It's just the quarterback's not under the center.
From midfield, 1st and 10. And Streeter gave it to Zachary that time to the 41, very close to first down yardage. Chris Edwards, the junior out of Georgia, made the stop. There's a perfect example of what you were just talking about.
Well, Steve Ensminger, the offensive coordinator, said for us to win, our center and guards have to play better than their defensive interior people. Their ends are good, but we think we match up pretty well on the inside, and that time a nice inside lead play. They got good yardage.
As mentioned at the beginning, you can run on Georgia Tech. Give up just under 194 yards per game on the ground. That's a lot. Fullback Witherspoon carries, and Terry looks like he has first down yardage to the Yellow Jackets, 39. We'll talk about those Georgia Tech numbers. They are not pretty, as Todd referred to in the open. 193 yards a game on the ground, nearly 400 per game, last in the conference. But the sacks, part of the story, they make explosive plays.
Yeah, they make explosive plays, big plays. They make plays when they have to. But don't forget the scoring defense, too. 3rd in the conference, 23 points per game. So they give up a lot of yards, but that doesn't equate to a lot of points necessarily.
2 receivers from the 39. Streeter to the air. That should be a flag. I guess not. But the contact was early from Tillman. So did Streeter. But it goes as an incompletion.
Take a look. They're trying to get the slot receiver down the middle, and here's the contact. It was close, but it did look like the right hand of Tillman was made contact before the ball got there. The intended receiver, Marcus Martin, probably could have gotten an interference call on that play.
When you're Tommy West and you've seen this season go bad so often, you get even more frustrated when calls don't go your way early. On 2nd and 10, Witherspoon. The fullback rumbling forward for the first down to the 29. That run of 10, his longest of the year, is 11.
Nice call by Ensminger that time. That looked like a pass situation for Clemson. And again, the lead play to the fullback, and he missed the tackle, made one guy miss. Normally, you don't expect a 260-pound fullback to make a guy miss. There was a guy unblocked in there that couldn't make the tackle on Witherspoon. And once he got that big body moving, he was able to get past the yardage. Looks like he got a first down.
You are correct, sir.
Witherspoon actually had a pretty good game against Georgia Tech last year. 12 carries, 61 yards, and a touchdown. He's a typical I formation fullback, but now they're not running out of the I as much and showing that he can run the football as well.
George O'Leary, who was a defensive coordinator with Bobby Ross during the Ross tenure at Georgia Tech, replaced Bill Lewis mid-season 4 years ago. Play 8 of the Clemson drive at the Yellow Jacket 29. Back to the ground with Zachary that time. The defense was ready. Cameron on the stop, and here's Doc Jerry.
Well, thus far in the first quarter, Clemson is definitely playing inspired football. That man right there, Tommy West, gave a very, very emotional speech prior to the team coming on the field. He told them exactly what I said a moment ago. It is a night of redemption for Clemson football. It is Thursday night in Death Valley. The entire nation is watching. You guys have got to go out and play with inspiration, play with emotion, and show them what Clemson football means. We're starting a new tradition, and it starts tonight.
They look at on this opening drive, Jerry. Little shovel pass for Austin. Davis was hit early. And lucky if he got back to the line of scrimmage. Delonta Cameron in there again, the senior from Arlington, Virginia, who's been extremely active on the Tech defense. 3rd and long coming up.
This play looked like it was going to open up. Here's Cameron. Watch how quickly he reacts to the play. The tight end can't get there to get a piece of him. T.J. Watkins, a quick reaction by Cameron. That play looked like it had a chance, but a very quick play by Delonte Cameron.
3rd and 10. They need to get to the 19. 4 receivers, 1 back. Tech brings 4. Streeter's pass is short of the first down to Rod Gardner. At the 20, 4th and 1, you're 2 and 7. Do you get points or do you go?
Boy, Rod Gardner did 2 things on that play. 1 good and 1 bad. The bad thing was he didn't take his route far enough for the first down. He's the outside receiver. The second thing he did was good. He came back to the football and cut off the defender and allowed his quarterback to make the throw. But if you've got 3rd down in that yardage, make sure your route gets past the first down yardage so when you catch the football, it's a first down.
They waited a couple of seconds, decided to go for it, but the play clock was running down before the personnel got in. So Clemson, like Georgia Tech on its first drive, takes a timeout. Mike Tirico, Todd Blackledge, Dr. Jerry Punch with you, Clemson, South Carolina. No change of decision during the timeout. They'll go for it on 4th and less than a yard. Streeter to Zachary. First down at the 18.
You got a 260-pound lead fullback. You got a quick tailback, and the strength of your offensive line is your center and your 2 guards. The perfect play on 4th down and 1. It's an ISO lead behind the fullback. Look at the block by the fullback, Witherspoon. Linebacker was in the hole. Nice job by the fullback getting that lead block.
And during the timeout, Dr. Jerry Punch was telling us Tommy West went out and asked the offensive lineman, can you do it? Can you make the first down? And they were screaming back, yes, we can. West shows his emotion as the drive stays alive. Play 10 from the Georgia Tech 18. Witherspoon across the 15. Check that, it's Crucci, the fullback, the freshman out of New Jersey, getting to the 15. Very nice drive to open up here from the Clemson Tigers. They have not moved the ball well on offense, only 300 yards a game. That's not really good. But throwing the ball now the last couple of games, Streeter and the offense have picked up their production.
Well, they have moved it much better here the last 3-4 ball games. They started out dreadful on offense. I mean, they couldn't do anything, run or pass. But now they've started to move the ball a little bit of both.
From the 15, they work another inside handoff. They're doing a nice job running out of the shotgun. Go to Crucci again. He gets down to the 10. Seldom used fullback. Touching the ball for the 25th time this year.
It's a little bit unusual what Clemson doing is they're actually leading with the tailback and they're running the football with the fullback. That time Travis Zachary was the lead blocker and they're giving it to Crucci, the fullback. Most of the time on a lead play like that, you lead with the fullback and give it to the tailback. But Clemson gaining some good yardage with the fullback running the play.
3rd and short, back under center and out of the eye. Toss to Zachary. First down, Zachary. Did he fumble it? Let's see if he was down. It's a fumble and a touchdown. Colin Postel, the right tackle, recovered.
Colin Postel is the guy who sprung the play on the tackle trap, and he's the guy who ends up falling on the football for the touchdown for Clemson. When Georgia Tech plays, there's a lot of fumbles recovered for touchdowns, right, but not normally this way.
David Richardson, their senior kicker, on for the extra point. His 14th of the year, and the Tigers take the lead as Postel, the senior offensive lineman, a big ugly, gets a sixer.
Take a look at 2 guys on this play that got the big blocks. The fullback, Witherspoon, right here, and Colin Postel, the right tackle, on the pull. Take a look at it now. Good block by the fullback, and then Postel alert at the end of the play. He signaled touchdown, saw the ball squirt out. He still was able to get in there for the touchdown. But an excellent drive by the Clemson offense.
6 times this year it's been Georgia Tech recovering fumbles and taking them back for touchdowns. It is being credited as a Zachary touchdown. So they are officially ruling, although Postel had the moment of glory, that Zachary was in the end zone before the fumble. A 10-yard touchdown for Zachary, and his 4th of the year.
I don't think Tommy West or Holland Postel will argue about that. However they get it, they'll take the 7-0 lead here.
I know Postel doesn't care, but I would guess that's going to be his last opportunity at a touchdown as a Clemson Tiger. He was one of the players that we visited with yesterday who impressed upon us how the team has not quit on each other. And it's been his unit, the offense, that the defense could have very easily said, guys, enough. You guys haven't done anything for us, and they have stuck together.
Yeah, the defense really has played pretty well all season, and early on the offense really struggled. And, of course, the turnovers, 27 turnovers in those 7 losses, would have been very easy for the defensive side to point fingers, but they never did.
Ryan Smith, 22 of his 38 kickoffs have been for touchbacks. This one will not be. White. Knocked out of bounds. Check, that'll be Joe Burns, not Dez, with the return. College game day from Manhattan, Kansas at 11 a.m. Eastern, and then Wisconsin, Michigan. Biggest game of the day on ESPN at noon Eastern, followed by Northwestern, Penn State. Our nighttime lineup, Florida State, Wake Forest, and Georgia Auburn on ESPN, and Virginia Tech, Syracuse, huge one in the Big East. On the deuce at 8 Eastern. I know Kansas State, Nebraska is a big game, but I'm telling you that the Wisconsin game is going to shape a lot of the race the rest of the way as well.
That'll be a good one.
1st and 10 for the 38. Charlie Rogers in the game for Georgia Tech. Hamilton fires, and it's miscommunications. Rogers still running as the pass falls incomplete.
Well, Charlie Rogers is one of those unique players that plays a little bit of wide receiver, plays a little bit of running back. He's got to learn more than one position, and that time, obviously, a miscommunication between he and the quarterback, Joe Hamilton. It's a 3-step drop. Hamilton expecting Rogers to break off that route on a short hitch route. There's a lot of responsibility mentally on Charlie Rogers in this offense.
Robert Carswell out to cover him now. 2nd and 10. Big lick on Burns. Keith Adams came in to make the play. The freshman out of College Park, Georgia. Some of the young players coming in and doing stuff for the Clemson defense.
Take a look at 27 in the middle of the screen. The fullback decides to take the outside man. Nobody blocks Keith Adams. And quite a collision there at the point of attack.
3rd and 10, the Tech offense not in rhythm. Hamilton to the air, finds Rogers, who spins, but is kept short of the 1st down. Raheem Abdullah and Keith Adams with the hits. Georgia Tech will kick it away.
We talked about the Georgia Tech defense making big plays and the offense scoring a lot of points, but one other factor about Georgia Tech that's lent to their success is the field position. Rodney Williams and his punting in a situation like this has been able to consistently put teams deep in their own territory.
A good net punting yardage. Fair catch signal for and made by Travis Zachary back at the 16. No return again after a 38-yard punt. Clemson a long field, but the lead. After an outstanding opening drive, Clemson has a longer field to work with, but they lead 7-0 here on Thursday Night Football in Death Valley. Clemson's 2 victories this year, shutouts. Opening week against Furman, 33-0. Against Maryland in the middle of October, 23-0. Streeter, the fullback again. Then Scrucci gets a couple of yards. He's 2nd and 8, and here's Dr. Jerry Punch.
Guys, one of the reasons you saw the freshman Keith Adams in at inside linebacker for Clemson a moment ago is that their senior, Chris Jones, came off the football field after the first defensive series holding his right ankle. They have taped the right ankle and gone to put a splint on it, but they can ill afford to lose the senior inside linebacker. After all, Antoine Edwards, and there's Antoine Edwards. He is a senior leader as a defensive back. If they lose Jones, their leader at linebacker, they'll really be hurting defensively.
No question, Jerry, and the Georgia Tech offense is going to move the ball. They haven't yet, but they will. Streeter saw the play clock running down and had to burn a timeout. Second time that Clemson has had to stop the clock here in the first half. We'll step out with them. 2/3 of the way through the opening quarter. Tommy West team leads by 7. While we were away, Chris Jones came back out of the locker room, was trying to run on the sidelines and looked to be a little hobbled when he was trying to make a lateral cut. Dr. Jerry Punch will keep an eye on him. 2nd and 8. Streeter's pass is deflected and incomplete. Streeter could have caught it and run with the football, but did not. Nate Stimson, I should say, knocked it down.
Nate Stimson is a guy who is just making more plays in the last couple ball games. A lot of attention paid to Jesse Tarplin on the other side. Stimson continues to make big plays. That time did a nice job of reading the quarterback's eyes and motion and timing that jump. You don't always have to get a sack. Just know what the quarterback's doing. You can get up and make a big play.
Stimson, a nomad, left school. George O'Leary said, "You sure you want to come back?" He did, and he's been a big factor on this defense this year. 3rd and 8. Streeter will run some option. Pitching to Javis Austin, who is hit and stopped. Nice play by Felipe Claybrooks. Doesn't play a lot, but when he's on the field, he makes plays.
Well, Georgia Tech was prepared for that play. Randy Edsall, the defensive coordinator, said one of the tendencies of Clemson when they got into that 4 wide receiver set, they've only run the ball 5 times, and every time it's been a speed option, and there it was again, another speed option. So Georgia Tech fully anticipating that particular play.
Kevin Laird, the punter's had a good year. Charlie Rogers has had a good year as well. Taking him back for Tech. Fair catch on this short kick. Georgia Tech with a very nice field position near midfield for this drive. Just a 27-yard kick. You know, on ESPN Classic, a couple of good games tomorrow night. It's great. Sets the tone for the weekend. The Friday night football games of old. Number 2 Oklahoma, number 1 Nebraska from November of '87. And then at 9 o'clock, another battle of unbeaten from '94. Auburn, number 1, but on probation at that point, Auburn, against number 1 Florida. What a terrific game that was. Danny Werfel in that game as well. For those of you who are old school, check it out on ESPN Classic tomorrow night. On first down, Hamilton with some option. Pitching to Charlie Rogers. Gets the first down across the 40. Robert Carswell had to pull him down from behind.
Well executed option that time by Joe Hamilton. Pitches at the right time. Watch how Georgia Tech puts the fullback in a little bit of a motion just to get him out in order to make that lead block. The option on the end, 52. The fullback's in a great position to block the safety, Robert Carswell. And it's just a well-executed option. But that little short motion gets the fullback Wilder in a better position to make that block.
15-yard pickup. First down for Georgia Tech. This time Joe Burns out of the tailback spot. Wrapped up at the 31-yard line.
Number 35, Joe Burns on the carry.
Harold Means in on the tackle. Boy, they're beat up at the linebacker spot. There's Chris Jones coming back in. O.J. Childress, another starting linebacker, a right wrist injury. A huge cast on it before the game. He was just going to try to see some action. He's 56 right there. Just stepped out of your picture. The starters are back out there now for 2nd and 5. Burns again. 3 for the freshman tailback. O.J. Childress on the stop, and again, Jerry Punch.
We mentioned Chris Jones had come back out of the locker room for Clemson. He had the injury to the right ankle. It took him in the locker room. They put an air cast on his right ankle. He has a splint on his left ankle, but if you look at his right ankle, you see about 3 inches above the top of his shoe, there's a white piece of plastic there taped around with Velcro. There's an air cast support for that inverted right ankle. We're not sure how long he'll go, but he is back in the football game.
Good job, Doc. Tight formation, 3rd and 2. First down for Philip Rogers, the junior out of East Point, Georgia, who averages about 4 per carry. It's an important 4 there to keep the chains moving.
Well, Chris Jones is an extremely tough kid. There's no question about that. This time he kind of takes himself out of play. They're trying to shift formations with the strength of Georgia Tech's shifting. He got himself out of position to make the play, and he's obviously not going to be as quick on some of those movements as he was before he injured the ankle. The guy's been patient, waited his turn to play, played behind Wayne Simmons for 3 years.
First down, Hamilton with lots of time. This is where he can be dangerous. Gets to the 18, so he does pick up about 5 yards. Raheem Abdullah ran across the field with him. Joe Hamilton doesn't have huge rushing numbers. Some sacks involved in there because they were behind and passing a lot, but he can tuck it and be a lot of trouble.
Raheem Abdullah, when we talked to him, he paid Joe Hamilton. There's a lot of people in the ACC saying good things about Joe Hamilton. Abdullah said, he's like Michael Jordan, man. You can't stop him. You just got to hope you can contain him. That time, Raheem did a great job of containing Joe Hamilton, not letting him make a big play on the scramble.
Pick up a 4, 2nd and 6, 2nd and 11. Konrad Andrzejewski, the junior tight end, moved a little bit early.
False start on the offense. 5 yards. 2nd down.
It's understandable with all those letters on his back. They've got to get heavy every once in a while.
There's Konrad right there on the end of the line. You can't hide from that referee down the sideline. And the hard count by Joe Hamilton pulled his tight end.
Konrad out of Wellington, Florida. They've had big problems with the tight end spot this year.
Single coverage here to Des White.
Hamilton throws the screen. Was lucky to get through as it deflected off his shoulder pads and arms. Terry Jolly, a sophomore from Georgia, may have been the first Clemson defensive hand on him.
Well, this was a called screen play, but they had a good coverage situation for Des White. The motion took the safety away, so it's all one-on-one. Alex Ardley, who has had some problems this year against Des White, but you see Des is not even going out on a pass route. He's blocking to lead the screen. But they had what they wanted. Wouldn't be surprised to see him come back to that situation and throw it to Des White,
who hasn't seen the ball yet tonight. 3rd and 11. Hamilton. Right through the hands of White. Had a touchdown.
You know, one of the things that George O'Leary told us about Des White, here he is right in the middle, he's just going to run the post, and he's wide open, is that Des White seems to make the tougher catches better than he makes the easier catches. It's a great route, the double move, but he says sometimes on the easier catches he kind of fights the football, and that's exactly what it looked like that time. He didn't look smooth trying to catch it.
Brad Chambers from 40 yards out connects. Hit 2 huge field goals in Georgia Tech's victory over Clemson last year. Well, what could have been a tied game is instead a 4-point deficit for Georgia Tech.
Well, Des White has made a lot of big plays here, and he works very hard at his catching, but you can see he just didn't look comfortable trying to make that catch. It was a perfect throw by Joe Hamilton. And the coaches told us Des is not a natural receiver. He has worked to make himself a better receiver. But that time, certainly, Des White wished he had that one back. And Joe Hamilton threw a perfect throw. Ralph Friedgen, the offensive coordinator for Georgia Tech, down on the sidelines. A lot of coordinators are up in the booth, but Ralph likes to be down on the field, takes a lot of input from his players, from Joe Hamilton, from Des White. Is really a player's kind of coach in that way.
It's an interesting staff as you look at Ralph.
Hey, let's all calm down right now. Right now we're making too many mistakes. All right?
Was a coordinator.
Broken assignments, and you're still in the game. Let's just relax and let's go out and play.
Coordinator in the championship for Georgia Tech in '90 when they won it. And also offensive coordinator in the Super Bowl for the San Diego Chargers when they played in Miami against the San Francisco 49ers.
That last bit of advice Ralph Friedgen giving to Joe Hamilton, once you make up your mind to run, don't hesitate, run, because this defense is too fast if you fool around in the pocket.
Rodney Williams kicking off to Mal Lawyer. Nice tackle at the 23-yard line by Curtis Holloman, reserve tailback for Georgia Tech. 100 years ago, Clemson and Georgia Tech met for the first time on the football field. Centennial anniversary this year. The coach for Clemson then, John Heisman, Clemson coach 1900 to 1903. Then, of course, he went to Georgia Tech and was the coach 1904 to 1919. If you think football and coaching wasn't about big money then, John Heisman left Clemson, went to Georgia Tech because of money. Tech offered him more money. You see the series history, 62nd meeting, but only the 10th time at Clemson. Tigers always used to cross the border and go play at Georgia Tech. Terry Witherspoon back in the game. Game's just a couple of yards. To finish the thought on John Heisman, of course, the legendary Hall of Famer, he was getting paid in 1900, $1,800. That's pretty good money for back then at Clemson. Georgia Tech offered him $2,250 plus a percentage of the gate. I didn't think they were thinking percentage of the gate back in 1904, but, you know, they're smart at Georgia Tech, so they were way ahead of the curve.
1,800, that sounds like your per diem with ESPN.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, yeah. Enough breakfast at the Cracker Barrel for us. Tap that thing out real quick. On 2nd and 8, they beat the clock, and Streeter finds Zachary. Stays on his feet. Looked like he was going to go down, but picked up the first down and a flag as well.
We visited with Steve Ensminger the other day. He said about Travis Zachary, he's not a real speed guy, but he has enough quickness to make the first guy miss. And that's what we saw right there.
Personal foul on the defense. 15 yards into the run. First down.
George wants to know who and what. It'll take Clemson out to midfield.
First and 10 in the 50-yard line.
Coaches also told us it was going to be very important that Travis Zachary have a big ball game for them tonight, catching the football, because Georgia Tech is not a gambling defense. They don't play a lot of man-to-man. It's a lot of zone. Even against Florida State, that ball game was 10-7 going into the 4th quarter, and Florida State can throw it on anybody, but they force you to be patient and throw the ball to your backs. That was a good job by Travis Zachary out of the backfield.
End of the first quarter, Georgia Tech filled with the good offense coming in, but the best drive was the one by Clemson, capped off by the 10-yard run that was credited as a Travis Zachary touchdown. Hard to believe from that replay. Des White nearly had one, but it went right through his hands. Tech got a field goal instead, and after one, the Tigers lead by 4.
Now playing only in theaters.
What an honor to cross off Clemson, South Carolina on our visit of must-visit college football locations. Second quarter begins. Mike Tirico, Todd Blackledge, Dr. Jerry Punch. Clemson leads by 4. From midfield, it's 1st and 10. Brandon Streeter stood right there and had the chance to come down. Jesse Tarplin gets his 10th sack of the year.
Really not a bad decision by Brandon Streeter not to force a bad play. The only chance Clemson has in this football game is if they don't turn it over. They wanted to throw quick. They were releasing the lineman to get out and set up a wide receiver screen, it looked like. But it wasn't open, and Brandon Streeter decided to eat the ball rather than try to force a bad play.
One of those good sacks?
Yeah.
Are there such things? You a believer of that?
Well,
give you an hour.
Better sacks. I don't know if any of them are good.
2nd and 19, Zachary. Nice open field tackle by Jamar Clark, the Louisville transfer, playing his first year for the Yellow Jackets. 3rd and long coming. Here are the numbers through the first 15 minutes. Just 2 Georgia Tech first downs. They controlled the ball, did Clemson, and somebody circled wide.
Well, that's the big one to me. I mean, because coming into the ball game, 112 is all they average per game. So they're almost halfway there in the first quarter. They're able to run the football right now. That's keeping the Georgia Tech defense of George O'Leary off balance.
Defense in a good situation here. These are the danger spots for Clemson. 3rd and 14. Have to get to the Tech 40. Streeter gets there. First down pass to Mal Lawyer, who takes it to the 35. He picked up 19 on 3rd and 14.
Georgia Tech playing a 30 nickel defense, only a 3-man rush. Here's the 2 receivers. Take a look now. One's going to keep on the streak, and Lawyer's just going to hook up past the first down marker. They're running down the field. It looks like they're both going on the go route. And then Lawyer does a nice job getting past the first down marker and turning back to his quarterback. But the three-man rush by Georgia Tech gave Streeter a lot of time.
Quick pace from Clemson here. The inside handoff to Austin. And Javis takes it to the 30. It's about a 5-yard pickup.
Pickup of 5 yards on the play. 2nd and 5 at the 30.
Austin's been a very important pass catcher as Clemson's thrown it more. He's caught a pass in the last 10 games for the Tigers. Brandon Streeter, who came back from the end of spring ball ankle injury, had to be off that foot for 2 months. Maybe that slowed the development of this offense. Looks good now. Only a yard or two for Austin there. It's the hometown guy out of Clemson, South Carolina. Todd, we said a lot of shotgun.
Yeah.
Seen a lot of shotgun.
Well, we were told it was going to be about 90%, and it's right around there. And, you know, part of the problem was they like to do a lot of stuff from the I formation, a lot of bootleg and play action, but he didn't have the same foot quickness as he had before the injury, so he was a little bit late setting up. That made him a little bit late reading the defense and ultimately a little bit late throwing the football. And so in the shotgun, he's already off the line of scrimmage. He sees the defense better, and he has played much better out of this formation.
Picked up 3rd and 14, trying to pick up 3rd and 4, incomplete for Wofford. Streeter had pressure coming, and Georgia Tech had that well defended.
That's one that Brandon Streeter wishes he had back, because Brian Wofford is their go-to guy. He's their big play receiver. They've got to get him involved in the football game right now. And that's a play where just give him a chance to catch the football and see if he can make something happen. His best asset is running after the catch, and that ball was down around the shoestrings. A very difficult catch for Wofford to make.
David Richardson would have a season long if he makes this 46-yarder. 2 of 5 from beyond 40 yards. Little short. No good. Missed it to the right. Don't know if it would have gotten over the bar had it been on line. The O'Leary defense holds. Yellow Jackets down 4. Back on offense.
ESPN's presentation of Thursday Night Football is brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, who reminds you the 3 most important words are, hey, beer man, and by the new Dodge. It's about change.
Well, Walters is one of the local supermarkets, and how about a picture of the all-time producer or producer in the history of Tiger football, legendary Coach Howe. Tech drive starting from the 29. Wilder, the fullback, leads away, but Hamilton keeps on the option for a first down across the 40 to the 44-yard line. 14 yards at the Marco Fox stop, and a visit with Dr. Jerry one more time.
Following the last Georgia Tech offensive possession, their offensive coordinator, Ralph Friedgen, went over to Joe Hamilton and said, hey, Joe, listen, this team has way too much speed for you to go past one option, one read. They are way too quick to try to go deeper than one read. Do you understand? Joe said, I got you, Coach. I understand.
Well, Doc, the other thing about that, when you attack a team with speed on defense, you can do a couple other things. The option makes them play assignment football, slows them down a little bit. Wouldn't be surprised to see Georgia Tech go with a bootleg here soon also.
Hamilton stumbled in his drop. White couldn't hang on to the pass. Ball's incomplete. Alex Ardley, the corner on the cover.
No question, this Clemson defense has a lot of athletic ability, a lot of speed on the field, and they are flying around to the football. So one of the ways you take a little bit of that edge off of them is to run the option, put them back on their heels a little bit like they did on the first down play, and also misdirect some things. Run the bootleg, something Joe Hamilton is very effective at.
The absence of Antoine Edwards on the sideline with his injury is huge. They're hanging in there right now. 2nd and 10. Russell Matvey, the tight end, took it across midfield, and a Georgia Tech first down into Clemson territory at the 45. Matvey got a little bit of Death Valley turf in his face mask on the way off.
Well, here's Matvey right here, the tight end. He's going to release and run the crossing route. They get him matched up on the linebackers. More attention being played on the wide receivers. Nobody picks up the tight end crossing the middle of the field. And a nice job by Hamilton finding his tight end.
His tight ends have only caught 7 passes for Georgia Tech this year, so not too much of a surprise. They weren't paying much attention. Clemson was offside, so that 2-yard loss by Joe Burns. Did not happen. Tech's going to have a good situation at 1st and 5.
Offside on the defense. 5 yards. Repeat, first down.
Tommy West had his junior defensive lineman, DeMonte McKenzie, a little eager.
The other thing that Ralph Friedgen has to be concerned with right now is he can't let his wide receiver, Des White, lose confidence. Now, he dropped a couple passes, but he is clearly the main threat that they have in their passing game.
He'll be at the top of the screen. Mega
Another timeout.
You got it. You can see when they broke the huddle, Ralph was displeased, and the confusion continued. Each team has just one timeout left. 20 minutes into the game. We must be in NASCAR country because they love Doc Punch down here. We're just tag-alongs. The ride-along program. 1st and 5, Georgia Tech at the Clemson 40. Hamilton looking long. Des White was out there, but a flag is down. You saw White's last couple of steps were not sharp, and it's like Alex Ardley may have nudged him.
Well, just what I mentioned, Ralph Friedgen has to make sure Des White stays in this football game because he is their go-to guy. They came right back to him off the bootleg pass.
Interference on the defense. 15 yards. Previous spot. First down.
Take a look again now. They get Des White in single coverage on Ardley, a young cornerback, and Des White has good speed. You see the little grab by the left hand, but boy, oh boy, don't think it warranted pass interference. There was a quick grab of the jersey, wow, but very little contact. A tough call against Alex Ardley and the Clemson defense.
Our basketball brother, Mr. Raftery, would say, let him play. From the 25, Hamilton to the 17. The reason you complain about a call like that, and you understand what the referee saw. He saw the jersey and the hand and the contact there, but it wasn't the difference in whether the pass had been complete or not.
Yeah, it didn't appear that Des White slowed down or had his course altered at all on that play. Take a look now as Des White breaks to the post. Ardley has no help to the inside. He does grab the jersey momentarily, but it doesn't slow Des White's pursuit of the football. Should have been a no call. Understand why he called it, but when you see the whole play, it's hard to put the equation together. Burns on 2nd and 2 is probably going to be a hair short of the first down. Joe's a freshman out of Thomasville, Georgia, which has produced a lot of good football players, and a true freshman who came in, opened some eyes, and George O'Leary getting him on the field more and more now because of injury. Charles Wiley out for the season with a knee injury. Fans try to urge the defense on for 3rd and 1. Hamilton may be small, but the offensive line got enough of a push, it looks like, for a first down. Sometimes being small is helpful running a quarterback sneak because you want to stay low and just get behind the butt of your center and find a little crease in there and dive forward. And Joe Hamilton able to just kind of sneak it in there very easily for the first down. It's good till one of those linebackers comes in. Yeah, well, just stay low. You got to just stay lower than him. Get a little dirt on your face mask if you have to. This drive started at the 29. The Yellow Jackets have taken it to the Clemson 14. Hamilton options with Charlie Rogers. Ducked under as somebody was heading for his headgear, picked up about 4 yards. It's that same speed option where they use the short motion with the fullback Wilder running to the short side of the field. And they just allow that fullback to get out in a better position to block. Joe Hamilton's optioning the end right there, DeMont McKenzie. And it's a good gain on first down for Georgia Tech. Tech's been good down here in the red zone this year. 19 of 23, 14 of them touchdowns. Good time for play action, I think, right here. by Joe Hamilton.
2nd and 5. Burns is the lone back. This is a different set. Getting rid of that one. Yeah, everything was covered. Is that a more experienced quarterback play?
Absolutely. I mean, it's a one-read pattern. Take a look. If it's there, give it to Burns. If not, throw it away. Don't throw it out there where he's going to get hit right in the ear hole. That was a good decision by Joe Hamilton. And the happiest guy about that decision was Joe Burns.
Doesn't that show you how stats can sometimes lie? That goes down as an incompletion. Right. Your completion percentage isn't going to be as high, but that was the right play as the quarterback.
Yeah, your stats don't reflect decision-making all the time, and that was clearly a good decision by Joe Hamilton.
The officials remarked the ball back into play for 3rd and 5. Not a full house, but a good house. Hamilton creates space, stays on his feet, and scores a touchdown. That's why Little Joe is the man.
Watch this play. We said Joe Hamilton's a playmaker. Now Chris Jones is there to make a play, but you could see he was clearly bothered by that ankle, was not able to get himself in a good position to make the tackle, and Joe Hamilton made another big play for this Georgia Tech offense.
Brad Chambers on for the extra point. Sneaks it inside the right upright, and Georgia Tech takes the lead.
And that goes back also to what Doc was reporting, Ralph Friedgen telling Joe, when you make up your mind to run, go, man. Don't waste time. This defense can run too well. That was a very quick decision to run the football by Joe Hamilton. He was able to make Chris Jones miss and then get to the play. Take a look now. Watch as this comes out. Here's Chris Jones right here. He's unblocked. Watch as he gets in position. He's not able to turn directions on that ankle and get to make the play. But credit Joe Hamilton for making a miss, making a good play to the end zone.
How you doing, good Daddy? Love you too, baby.
Tough to stop on 2 good wheels because of his shiftiness. And when one break isn't working that well, Joe Hamilton finds the end zone.
Really enjoy talking to him and watching him develop as a quarterback. You know, he's actually struggled the last couple weeks statistic-wise, but he's been banged up. You know, he banged up his knee in the Virginia game. He got a hip pointer in the Florida State game. He played against Maryland in their last game, but was really only about 60%. Really gutted it out and played in that ball game. The week off has been really helpful for Joe Hamilton because he says he's 100%. Ralph Friedgen doesn't think he is, but Joe says he is. Look, he looked 100% on that play.
That shot there kind of explains it all, those 2 pictures. Jones, who was so close to making the play, if healthy, perhaps could have made the play. 2-7 team, ankle injury, you can bail, but he's given it all. In that picture, Friedgen and Hamilton, a great maturing relationship. A coordinator who's handled the best in the NFL, really has helped the development of the quarterback, Hamilton. Line drive kickoff. Returned out to the 25 by Wofford, the starting wide receiver. And here's Jerry Punch.
Well, guys, it's obvious that the Clemson defense misses the all-conference and all-American candidate quarterback, Antoine Edwards. And Antoine, you would like to be out there, particularly with a weapon like Des White that you have to defend against.
No doubt. Des White is a great athlete. He's one of the top receivers in the conference. No doubt I missed this game, but the guys worked really hard to come out and defend him this week. And hopefully we can get some things going. That was a pretty bad call right there, as you can see. But what you can say, but we're really playing hard right now.
Your boy Ardley out there playing awful hard, Polite playing hard. You basically have a pulled right hamstring, which came in the first quarter against NC State. As you watch the first running play for about 4 yards, you really were the only guy this year that's been able to shut down Torrey Holt at NC State. You shut him down for almost a quarter. That's going to make it even tougher to miss tonight. What about South Carolina?
Very probable right now. I'm going to get in there and hopefully get some great treatment this week, and hopefully I get out there and play next Saturday.
Looks like these guys are playing inspired football as a senior. Can you go out on top possibly?
Hopefully. We're going to come out and play hard this week, and hopefully next week we'll go out and have the same intensity and play a great game next week.
All right, Antoine Edwards, guys, on the sidelines watching and not playing. You'd like to be on the field.
No question, Jerry. After the gain of 6, Streeter's pass is high for Travis Zachary, the man who ran the ball on the first down. Incomplete. It will be 3rd and 4. And just to wrap up Antoine Edwards, Dre Bly was the cornerback that everyone talked about coming into the season. With North Carolina's poor season, we've seen Bly get beaten a little bit more. Edwards, on the other hand, even though Clemson is 2-7, has had a very good season at the corner, and he's a converted safety.
Yeah, and he has played very well. And Doc mentioned he really held his own against Torrey Holt their last ball game. But when he went out of the game, Torrey Holt just went off. 11 catches, 225 yards, and 4 touchdowns was the difference in the ball game for North Carolina State.
Big 3rd down. They need 4. Streeter looking wrong and has a man breaking, but it looked like Lawyer had a tough time picking up the ball. He had a ways to go as well, and he seemed to hesitate a step.
Well, Mal Lawyer is not the speed receiver. The speed receiver is Brian Wofford. Mal Lawyer is the possession receiver, but as it turned out on this route, the best place to go with the football was deep to Mal Lawyer, but he just couldn't track it down.
Kevin Laird on to kick it away. Charlie Rogers back to receive. Returnable kick from the 30. Rogers comes left, sees a wave of orange shirts. Ends up being a 9-yard return after a 38-yard kick. Darryl Crutchfield made the stop. Step aside here in Death Valley. The home team down 3.
The 11th ranked Lady Tigers.
Well, after a very nice opening drive, Clemson has not moved the ball as well in the last 3 drives, and now Brandon Streeter must watch the defense and ask them to come up with a stop. Joe Hamilton's pass to Joe Burns picks up 7 on 1st down.
Mike, this is a very critical juncture in the football game for the Clemson football team and Tommy West, because the team has played extremely well with a lot of emotion, and they've made a lot of plays on both sides of the ball, but right now they can't afford to let this game get away from them anymore here in the first half. It's 10-7 Georgia Tech. Clemson's played too well. They need a big defensive stop here, and then they've got to move the football on offense the next time they get it. Very critical time for Clemson.
2nd and short for Ed Wilder, sophomore fullback. He'll be a yard shy of the 1st down. It'll be 3rd and 1.
Adrian Dingle, the best defensive player for Clemson, just hobbled off the field the last play, too. So they are down another defender right now. They have Chris Jones, who's playing on a bad ankle. Adrian Dingle, who's battled with knee and ankle injuries all season, is on the sideline right now. So Clemson a little bit undermanned right now defensively.
There's Dingle on the bench. Doc will check him out. 3rd and 1. Philip Rogers runs left side and picks up the 1st down across midfield.
You know, the injuries have also been a real problem for Clemson the whole season. In their last game, when they lost here to North Carolina State, the winning drive, when North Carolina State went down the field and scored, 5 defensive starters were on the sideline in that winning drive by North Carolina State. That's tough to play when you've got 5 reserves in the game on a game-winning drive.
1st and 10 for Georgia Tech. Hamilton will go up top this time. 2 receivers in the pattern. Des White comes back for it and makes the catch. An 11-yarder for a 1st down. Well, Sunday Night Football on ESPN, the opportunity to see one of the great runners in the history of the league, Barry Sanders, and the Detroit Lions take on the Chicago Bears. ABC's Monday Night Football. No John Elway, out with the injury. So Denver tries to stay perfect with Bubby Brister at quarterback at Kansas City. A must-win for Marty and company. Monday Night Football starts at 8 Eastern on ABC Sports. After the pass to White from the Clemson 36. Hamilton kept it that time, and Chris Jones said, "You got away with the touchdown, I got your back."
Chris Jones looked okay running on that play because he was running straight ahead. He didn't have to change directions. Here he is right here. Take a look as he comes downhill right at the quarterback. He didn't have to stop and break one way or the other. And he made a nice play behind the line of scrimmage.
2-yard loss forced by the senior. Second and 12. Wilder, Burns, and Rogers fill up the house. Hamilton keeps it. Gets to the 31-yard line, 4 yards short of the first down.
One of the reasons that Ralph Regent's system here is so complex, he says he actually is running everything he ran in San Diego with Stan Humphrey and the Chargers, but they also have added the wishbone, which we just saw right there, and the option, which you don't run in pro football. So it's a very complex offensive package, and the further along that Joe Hamilton has developed, the more they've opened up that playbook to him, and that makes them very difficult to defend. They use a lot of personnel groups, and they run a lot of different types of offensive plays.
Third year as a starter, started as a freshman, missed just 1 game. It made their last 3 first downs. Hamilton has a back. The drop by Joe Burns. The freshman couldn't hang on. Texan no man's land here. At the 31, from here it would be a 48-yard field goal. Chambers' career long is 47.
Well, this is part of the way Georgia Tech has played football now. The field position role of Rodney Williams. Punt the football, try to pin this Clemson offense down deep. They may even try to take a penalty here and back it up a little bit. You know what, though? Be alert for a fake punt in this situation. You're in a good position to run a fake. Rodney Williams can run the football.
Gets this kick away just barely. He's got some friends to down it inside the 5. So great job by Georgia Tech. Long field to go for Clemson, and we send it back to the studio to see what Chris Fowler had for dinner. Chris.
Dinner was pretty good. We had some ziti and sauce, Mike, but more importantly, coming up on the Coors Light halftime report, the Blitzers stopped by. Talk about some of the many big games this weekend, the always anticipated hidden video, and a conversation. Ricky Williams and his former coach, John Mackovic. Lee and Kirk join me at the break.
That'll be fun, Chris. Thanks. I know Lee got the second plate.
Mike, Clemson doesn't necessarily have to score on this drive, but they cannot give the football back to Georgia Tech here before the half with any time to do anything. They've got to put something together on this drive.
Ask the O-line to do it. Zachary is stopped after he picked up about 4. Almost thought for a second he was going to be able to spin away from that second tackle, but Jason Bostic did a nice job of wrapping up number 8, Travis Zachary.
2nd and 6 for the Tigers at the 8-yard line.
Nobody could have been more professional about his extraordinarily uncomfortable situation than Tommy West when we visited with him yesterday. And we are not surprised that Clemson at 2-7 is giving the effort that we've seen in this first half. Zachary toss. Close to a first down. Ostell did a nice job to clear some space for him to allow Zachary to get up in that hole. That's 70, the right tackle, who recovered the fumble on that touchdown in the first quarter. Big old Holland.
Take a look at Travaris Tillman now. He's out of your picture, but he's going to come up right here now. Here he is, the free safety. He's a big hitter at the free safety, the best defensive player on this team, according to Randy Edsall. And that was a huge tackle that prevented the first down, because it looked, for all intents and purposes, like Zachary had an easy first down, but that was a huge hit by the free safety Tillman.
You're right. I thought he, no question, had the first down, but Tillman, who is the number 2 tackler on this team, kept him 4 chain links short. So it'll be 3rd power football for Clemson.
Very big conversion right here,
Yeah,
Mike.
when you come out with all the emotion like Clemson did, is this the danger spot now after the other team has come back and taken the lead?
Yeah, they've taken your best punch, but you still have played well enough, and to go in at 3 at half is okay.
Churchu, the backup fullback, is in motion, and Zachary plows for the first down across the 17. They go behind Postell and Hulsey to get it.
The thing that you can't afford to do in a situation like this, when you have a team that has a little bit of a fragile confidence problem, is to go in at 10, down 10 at halftime when you've played so well here in the first half. That was an important first down conversion that time by the Clemson running game.
After 6 or 7 first downs in the first quarter, just the 2nd first down this quarter for the Tigers. Keep it on the ground, even though we're inside of 2 minutes, because they are in a danger territory. And Zachary gets stopped. Now, Georgia Tech can't call timeouts to try to extend the last 2 minutes here inside the 20 because they only have one remaining.
Yeah, they had to burn those timeouts early in the half with a little confusion.
You know, Todd, people forget Georgia Tech is still alive to not just share the ACC title, but win it. As the guys were talking about Chris Wenke out for Florida State, Wake Forest should be in a tough spot to contend in the game, but with a new quarterback making his first start, you never know.
You never know is right, and particularly, I mean, in the year we've already had in college football, you never know.
Zachary runs across the 22. The fans are upset, but I think Todd's point is the more salient one here. You got to be careful down here. Here's Jerry Punch.
Well, the Clemson faithful can breathe a sigh of relief because Adrian Dingle, their senior defensive end, who came limping off the field, just re-sprained that left ankle that he injured against NC State 12 days ago. They have put an air cast on his left ankle. He should be back in and play the second half. So they certainly can't afford to lose him with Jones and, of course, Edwards already out.
Big third down conversion attempt because Tech can stop it with a timeout here. Streeter fires. It is caught by Austin, who went out of bounds a yard short of the first down. Not like he had an option. He had two Georgia Tech defenders led by Delonta Cameron leading him that way. So with 15 seconds left, Clemson will have to do a good job of protecting the punter and kick it away. We are standing by for the Coors Light halftime report with Chris, Lee, and Kirk in the studio as the guys get ready for their journey to Manhattan, Kansas. But before that, we'll check in with the Blitzers and get updated on all the latest news.
Clemson still has to be careful here now because Georgia Tech has nothing to lose but to try to come after this punt. There will be no punt return set up here.
Laird to kick. Good job of protection and a good kick by Laird. Fair caught at the 25-yard line. Good fundamental football by Clemson. A 49-yard kick. Well, during the second half, we'll get into some of the topics we covered with Tommy West in our conversation with him. This is a guy who's been to 3 consecutive bowls, only one of 16 programs to do that, has hit the first dip in his program during his tenure. And if you talk to anyone down here, they say he's as good as out as coach of Clemson.
Special to me because, you know, my dad's a coach, and my dad's a coach who's been fired before. And it's actually tougher on families than it is the actual guy going through it. And he talked about that quite a bit with us.
Talk about that in the second half. In the first half, the man, Joe Hamilton, lived up to advance Billy with a touchdown that put Georgia Tech ahead 10-7 as we send you to the Coors Light halftime report and Chris Fowler.
Mike, thanks. Speaking of the ACC, coming up on our Coors Light halftime report, Lee, Kirk and I will talk about Florida State minus Chris Wenke, what they might do at that quarterback position with some big games coming up. Also, our Blitzers stop by. A lot of big games this weekend, including Arkansas and Tennessee. Also, our hidden video never disappoints on a Thursday night involving laterals and miscellaneous stuff. And Ricky Williams closing in on the record, perhaps even the Heisman, visits with our John McAdoo.
The Georgia Institute of Technology is a campus steeped in tradition, Heisman and Dodd, technology and teaching, academic rigor and practical relevance. Georgia Tech now stands on the threshold of a new era, an era of technological opportunity and national prominence in the fields that will shape the world of tomorrow, the traditions of the past, the opportunities of the future. The new era begins now at Georgia Tech.
Set for the third quarter here in Death Valley on a cool November evening. Tommy West, another home game after this, and then many think he will be out as the Clemson head coach. But in the first half, Todd Blackledge, we saw his team, which trails by 3, put up a very good effort. Now, if you were Tommy West in the locker room, what do you tell your team? What kind of things do you look for in the second half that can get you over the top against Tech?
Well, I think, first of all, you tell your team you're proud of them. They played hard. They played with emotion. They flew around on defense. They didn't turn it over, so they've kept themselves close. But now they've got to make some plays throwing the football on offense. They ran the ball well early, but then Georgia Tech started to tighten down on the running game. It's up to Brandon Streeter in the passing game, I think, now to make some plays offensively, take a little of the pressure off your defense.
Give me a Tech headline. What do they need to do in the second half? Because they played better in the second quarter than Clemson did.
Well, I think Tech's going to go back to more option than we saw in the first half. That was the most successful thing they did, was Joe Hamilton with the ball in his hand running the option, and look for him to incorporate some play action pass, maybe even a reverse off their option package. They're capable of doing all those things.
George O'Leary's team is 6-2. Win here, win next week against Wake Forest, and at worst they will share the ACC crown with Florida State. They haven't done that since the championship year of 90. Clemson gets the ball first on a spinning kick. It is Mal Lawyer, starting receiver, gets to the 27-yard line. That's where the Tiger drive will start.
Mal Lawyer returned that kickoff. It was Mal Lawyer who had a chance to make a big play in the passing game, but Brandon Streeter overthrew him on the post here, and those are the kind of plays now that Brandon Streeter needs to hit a couple of them. He doesn't have to be perfect on it, but he has to hit a couple to loosen up the Georgia Tech defense, and really the guy they need to get the ball to is Brian Wofford. He is their big play guy, and he has been very quiet in this ball game so far.
Streeter's a junior out of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Came down to the south to play his football. Out of the shotgun to start the second half. Good pass to Wofford. Ball came out, but they say incomplete instead of a fumble. It'll be second down.
Well, as I expected, they were going to try to get the ball to Brian Wofford and get him involved in the game early in the second half. This is very good coverage by Jamara Clark, just getting there at the same time as the football and reaching that left hand in there and stripping it out before Wofford could secure the catch. Nice play by Jamara Clark.
Wofford had 7 catches and 9 catches in the last 2 games for over 100 yards. Just 1 for 6 tonight. Travis Zachary is forced to change his direction. Gets about 2 yards. It's going to be 3rd and long, and here's Dr. Jerry Punt.
Guys, at halftime, Tommy West told his kids he was very, very proud of the effort they gave in the first half. They came out with a lot of emotion, put 7 points on the board. He said Georgia Tech took the momentum away late in the first half because of problems with their own kicking game. A short kickoff, a missed field goal. He said we've had some success running between the tackles in the first half, but we'll probably put the ball in the air a little more in the second half. As you said, Todd, they're going to get the ball downfield.
No choice but to try that on 3rd and 8, Jerry, from the 30. Tech brings 5. Caught by Lawyer. It's going to be real close, but maybe a hair short of the first down.
And that's the second time now we've seen a Clemson receiver make a catch on 3rd down, but not get beyond the first down marker. This time it was Mal Lawyer. Take a look at Holland Postel working on the outside here.
Felipe Claybrook's getting in for the hit.
And here's the catch. Now, again, it's a good job by Lawyer making the catch because it was not a great pass. He had to come back to the outside. But if your route is a 10-yard route, but you need 11 yards for the first down, you got to make that route 12 yards. You just got to go beyond it because you naturally have to come back to the football to make the catch.
That's a tough decision here. 4th and 4 chain links, and they are going to go for it, which the fans love, but it's conditional love. It'll depend on how the result comes out.
And they may just go for the freeze count here, too. They may try to put some guys in motion and just try to draw Georgia Tech offside.
Motion from Wofford. Streeter keeps it. It looks like that love may go on a little bit longer.
The best way for me to tell they got the first down is I was watching the Georgia Tech sideline, and there was absolutely no movement. Nobody jumped up and down. Nobody rose their hands above their head. There's George O'Leary, and they're standing right down there looking down the line at it, and there was not one bit of movement on the Georgia Tech sideline on that play.
That's the second 4th down that Clemson's picked up. They were 2 of 6 on 4th down for the season coming into tonight. 2 of 2 thus far. Drive stays alive. Witherspoon and Austin are in the backfield here. And Javis Austin sideways through the hole, but gets out to the 46. That's about 7 yards. You look at the first half stats, and they are dead even. can't find any space there. Maybe
it's
Clemson.
Unbelievable.
You know, Marty Aronoff, who does our stats, who is a stats legend. I don't want to say Marty's been doing stats for a long time, but he's done the blue-gray game, and I don't mean the one on Christmas Day. I mean the Civil War. Marty said he has never seen stats that even at halftime of any football game, college, pro, you name it. He is the king of stats.
Nice reference. Brandon Stewart, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, Civil War, blue-gray.
Couple of yards for Javis Austin to the 48-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 1. Much more comfortable situation for Clemson. You know what I like about Georgia Tech? Meeting with their coordinators. O'Leary, Randy Edsel, the defensive coordinator who was with the Jacksonville Jaguars the last couple of years as defensive backs coach, and Ralph Friedgen, we mentioned his San Diego ties. They've all had NFL experience, and they've all tasted what that life is like, and you see they're 2 chain links short this time. And now have come back to college and seem to have the appreciation for what's so good about the nurturing relationship of coaches and players in collegiate athletics.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think you don't realize or fully appreciate the impact that you have on kids' lives, and that's one of the things Ralph Friedgen told us. He said, you know, in the NFL it's like coaching your friends, but in college it's like coaching your sons, and I think that's the biggest difference for these guys who have come back.
Churchill, the backup fullback, comes in motion. They hand it on 3rd and short this time, and Zachary bust free for the first down across midfield, and it was one of those everybody up tight plays that he almost bounced to the house.
Did a nice job showing a little patience there and waiting till there was a crease. There's the isolation play following his fullback, but it's pretty stuffed up at the point of attack. Right there, it's stuffed up. He does a nice job just bouncing back a half a step and then finding a crease to get the first down.
Every time everyone's tight in there, and then the back bounces to the outside. I can't help but see John Riggins from that Super Bowl, that 4th down when he made that. Zachary 61 yards now on the night. Clemson back to the gun. They picked up 2 first downs on this drive. Streeter. Well, Wofford beat his man, Jamar Clark, but there's a flag down. That's why that ball was so off in distance.
Well, they got him. They went with the hitch and go on this one, and it was a good pump fake by Brandon Stewart, and all Jamar Clark could do was grab onto the receiver. That's not a bad penalty, really, by Jamar Clark, because otherwise it's an easy touchdown for Clemson. Take a look now. They've thrown the hook, and Jamar Clark, the last time they threw the hook, he made a great play on it. This time he came up and bid on the play and did the only thing that he could do, and that was take the penalty. But better than giving up the touchdown. It really is.
And it is real pass interference, a 15-yarder, as opposed to the defensive holding.
It was a nice call by Steve Ensminger, because the first play of the second half, they tried to throw the curl pattern to Wofford, and it was broken up nicely by Jamar Clark. They came right back at it, the same look, and this time went with the hook and go.
So Clemson gains a big chunk. They move the ball to the Georgia Tech 32. Down 3 here in the 3rd quarter. Opening drive of the 3rd. Zachary outside to get to the 27. It's a good 5 yards on first down.
That looked like a play out of the Georgia Tech playbook. It was the same option to the short side where they put the fullback in the short motion and let him lead the play. And it was a nice play on first down for Clemson. But that's the exact same option that Georgia Tech ran so effectively in the first half.
Clemson opened with a good first drive in the 1st quarter, trying to come out of the locker room and do the same. It's Churchill, the fullback, rumbling forward to the 7-yard line. His knee hit the ground, but it will be 1st and goal for Georgia Tech. Vince Churchill with his longest run of his Clemson career, a 19-yarder.
Little inside trap by Clemson. Watch the trap come across this way, and the fullback. Nice little trap play. The center blocked back. They trap with the backside guard, Kyle Young. A quick hitter to the fullback. They got outside the play before on the option. Now they come with the inside trap to the fullback. And a nice drive by Clemson.
1st and goal for the Tigers, looking to take the lead. Zachary to the 5.
Number 8, Travis Zachary. Stop made by
Play calling tough down here when you're running the ball effectively, but now the defense is a little bit tighter.
Well, it's tougher because the defense doesn't have nearly as much field to defend. I mean, you can play zone defense and really squeeze it down. You can get more people around the line of scrimmage to stop the run, but they can still play pass coverage because they don't have to defend depth on the field. So, yeah, it is tougher to call plays in this part of the field, especially running plays.
Justin Watts just in the game. He's in motion. Zachary. You see the defensive backs were up there on that stop. Bostic and Tillman. Just a couple of yards, and there's what you were talking about.
Yeah, a lot of white jerseys around the football. You can put 8 guys around the box, and they just have more defenders than you have blockers in that kind of a situation. That's why I've always thought that second down inside the 5-yard line is a better play action down or throwing down than third down, because third down you more anticipate pass. Second down is normally considered more of a run down. You can be much more effective throwing the football in second than you can on third.
3rd and goal from the 3. Clemson, 4 receivers, and out of the shotgun. Streeter, touchdown! Rod Gardner! First touchdown of the year for Gardner.
This is a very good throw by Brandon Streeter. One of the advantages of being in the shotgun, you don't have to worry about getting your depth on the drop back because you're already there. You just take the snap, set your feet, and fire the football, and that's what he did.
David Richardson adds the extra point. Rod Gardner, the sophomore out of Jacksonville, had a circus catch against Wake Forest for his lone touchdown of 97. His lone touchdown of 98 caps a 72-yard drive, and the Tigers lead.
ESPN's presentation of Thursday Night Football is brought to you by Park Avenue by Buick, the power of understatement.
Day after Veterans Day, a reminder here on campus that until 1955, Clemson was a military school. Much like the Citadel, what a beautiful campus. Took a little stroll around Perimeter Drive today, and in a November sunshine, this place looked great. In Death Valley, a little excited as the Tigers go on a very nice drive led by Streeter to take a 4-point lead on the Georgia Tech defense.
Travaris Tillman on the bench came very close to not only breaking that play up, but also creating a turnover. If you look at the Clemson scoring drive, excellent drive, 12 plays, 6 minutes. That's 6 minutes that Joe Hamilton doesn't have the football in his hands.
They were 61 yards on the opening drive of the first half. Des White cannot shake free, and the Georgia Tech drive start comes from the 20. Out Troy Bodrick on the stop.
Take a look at this now. It's a little crossing route, and really what you're hoping is that you get a little bit of a pick or a rub between these two defenders. Now, Georgia Tech does a nice job. Tillman's going to switch off and come to the other receiver, but just a little bit late getting there, and it was a rocket throw by Brandon Streeter, was able to stick it in there. Take a look at Brandon Streeter. We said he had to throw the ball, make a few plays, not a lot of yards, but he got the ones that he needed on that drive.
See what Hamilton and the Jackets can do. Nothing there with Philip Rogers. Some aggression from the Clemson defense led by Raheem Abdullah, 53. Jerry Punch on the sideline.
At halftime, George O'Leary talked about his offense making too many mistakes and stopping himself. Said, we got to sustain blocks, number 1. Number 2, we got to stop the backside pursuit. And number 3, we've got to catch the football. It is time to go out in the second half and turn up the intensity. We have 30 minutes to sketch out your dream.
That's of sharing or owning the ACC title. Hamilton to Des White. Nice catch for 9 yards, 3rd and 1 coming.
That's exactly what Dr. Punch was just talking about, catching the football. And Des White struggled a little bit in that first half. This time he makes a great catch on the sideline. Not an easy catch. Again, he's not a natural receiver, but he's worked very hard at his catching. Does a lot of after practice work on his own. Did a nice job reaching back on that one and making the catch. The other way to slow down that backside pressure is to run the bootleg, which we haven't seen much of Georgia Tech yet, but I expect we'll see it in the second half.
3rd and 1. Everybody all tight. Rodgers inside, the big block. Springs Phillip forward for the first down. Ed Wilder, he is big and he is physical.
Clemson has played very good on defense tonight, but the one thing they haven't been able to account for too well is Joe Hamilton running the football. Here he is on the option. They've had a lot of problems stopping the option. This is a design quarterback draw. Turned into a good play for Hamilton. And then, of course, the scramble where he eluded Chris Jones and took it to the end zone. But Joe Hamilton has been more of a weapon running the football tonight so far than he has been throwing it.
After picking up the first down, Hamilton back to the air. That was a tough catch for Des White. Falls incomplete.
Yeah, that one's on Joe Hamilton. He's got to get that ball down where Des White can make an easy catch and hopefully turn up field and try to make something happen. But that's 2 quick throws to Des White. They may be trying to set up Alex Ardley for a little hitch and go, a little fake the pump fake, just the same way Clemson did.
If you were not with us in the first half, Antoine Edwards, the best defensive back on Clemson, maybe the best corner in the ACC. Thorpe Award candidate, out with a hamstring injury. Movement before the snap. Gary Childress was pointing on defense to Chris Brown, the left tackle for the Jackets. They'll push Georgia Tech back 5. Well, next Thursday night, we'll bring you the Edge. Edgerrin James and 24th ranked Miami still very much alive for the Big East title. Hosting Pittsburgh. Panthers upset the Canes on a Thursday night last year. We come after Thursday game night, presented by Coors Light at 7:30 Eastern. We'll be at the Orange Bowl. So it'll be the Ledge talking about the Edge next Thursday night on ESPN.
The team is really starting to play pretty good football.
They have Temple this week. Pittsburgh plays Boston College. 2nd and 15. Clemson brings pressure, and Hamilton goes down. Chris Jones, playing on that gimpy right ankle, led the charge.
One of the trade-offs, if you want to release a lot of receivers into a pass route, you have less number of blockers to block pressure. And this time, Clemson came with the blitz. 2 guys come untouched. Joe Burns, the back, was able to get one of them. Nobody there to get Chris Jones. A well-designed and well-timed blitz, that time by the Clemson defense.
With Georgia Tech among the top sack teams in the conference, they need to get to the 43 for the first down. Take the run for Sheridan. Was he far enough? Dangerously close to the first down. Robert Carswell on the coverage.
You know, when we talked to defensive coordinator Reggie Herring yesterday of Clemson, the thing that was most frustrating to him is he said, we've given up so many big plays in the passing game, but most of the plays we've given up have been against zone, not against man-to-man. There's a safety over the top. The underneath coverage slipped and fell down. You have help coming from the other side, and you just can't give up that kind of a play on 3rd down and long if you want to be successful defensively.
Michael Allen fell. There is Edwards, whose frustration mounts, but you saw they were 2 chain links short. I think Georgia Tech has sent the personnel on the field to go for it here on 4th and inches. There is Reggie Herring.
Boy, he was a treat to listen to the other day, wasn't he?
He would fit the profile of defensive coordinator.
He's a linebacker at Florida State. Good football player as well as coach.
Going for it on 4th and inches. Hamilton keeps it. And that should be enough for the first down. Again, the Blackledge factor. You look at the sideline of the defense, and they didn't move. No hesitation from Georgia Tech to go for it in their own territory on 4th down here in the 3rd quarter.
Good shot here to maybe take a shot at something down the field to Des White. Maybe the hitch and go now, maybe a play action or a reverse, something that would try to attack the aggressiveness of the Clemson defense.
There's White, little option look, and going deep for Des White. Right through his hands. Alex Ardley pulled him down to make sure that it was a tougher catch. Good call, Todd.
They ran the play action off the option. Clemson had to respect the option fake because it was so successful in the first half, and they got single coverage again with Des White on the post. A well-thrown ball by Joe Hamilton, and that was just dropped again by Des White. I don't think Ardley got his hand on the football. Watch this play now. Ball went right down through the breadbasket of Des White.
44.
White's had some opportunities. Ardley's given up a few plays, but overall, Ardley in a very tough spot has done a nice job defensively. 2nd and 10, this time it is option. Charlie Rogers down the sideline. Pushed out of bounds in Clemson territory.
Number 3, Charlie Rogers.
First down at the 38-yard line. Gain of 18.
The option has clearly been the most effective weapon of the Georgia Tech offense so far. Here they put the fullback in motion again. Wilder gets a good block on the outside. Charlie Rogers does a nice job setting one guy up and making him miss. The Clemson defense right now, the challenge for them is stopping the option that Joe Hamilton is running.
Tell you what, Des White threw a nice block too to make sure there was one less defensive player in that corner of the field. Bootleg. Hamilton throws to the tight end. Andrew Tuski with a 22. Bigger chunks of yards now. 16 there. Georgia Tech moving closer to the red zone.
Good play calling by Ralph Friesen right now. They've run the option. They've run the play action off the option. Now they go the bootleg. Let that fast defense chase the play. Good ball fake by Joe Hamilton. See how he hid the ball? Put it on his hip so the defense couldn't see it. Really like him as a ball handler. I mean, I really think he's really developed as an overall quarterback. That was a good piece of ball handling right there by Joe Hamilton.
And as success comes, the tempo quickens for the Georgia Tech offense. Movement up front. No flags visible as Burns. Freshman gains a yard or two.
I'll make a point again about this bootleg play now, and for young quarterbacks at home. Now watch Joe Hamilton as he makes the fake. He's going to fake to Burns. Now watch where he puts the ball. Right there. You see how it's hidden under his hip? It's not sticking out here where the defense can see it. For a moment there, the defense doesn't know if Joe Hamilton has the ball or not. And when you're running the bootleg, that's all you want to do is freeze the defense for a moment, and a good ball fake does that.
Well, the tempo was going great on this offense because of the success. They just had to slow down because personnel and play that came in did not match. 2 on the play clock. Now 1. And Hamilton just beats it. Option 2, Charlie Rogers. Knocked out of bounds.
Alex Ardley with the stop.
One thing Georgia Tech likes to do offensively is try to pick up the tempo of the offense, and they do a couple things with that. They try to call plays quicker in the huddle. They line up with their huddle a shorter distance from the line of scrimmage. See, they're only 4 yards from the line of scrimmage. Normally, a huddle is back here about 7 yards from the line of scrimmage. It's a shorter distance to get to the football. They come out. They try to get out of the huddle with enough time on the clock to where they can do their audible or their check with me. They're running a little bit behind where they normally like to be right now on the play clock.
We call it a sugar huddle. 13th play coming in the drive. It's 3rd and 4. Hamilton to Wilder, first down to the 7-yard line. And Wilder, who's been terrific as the blocking fullback, comes up with reception 10 on the year.
We've seen Wilder use that short motion and lead on the option. This time they put him in that same kind of motion and ran him on the little arrow route to the sideline. Did a nice job of catching the football.
Averaging over 12 yards per catch and has a couple of touchdowns this year. Dropped his body fat from 18 to 13%. After the trucks, they were calling him Peterbilt. He's hard to stop once he gets ahead of steam going.
That's quarterback draw here.
Spread out. They run Hamilton. Pushed from behind to the 1. And he liked it. Great sound, guys. Donald Broomfield hit him from behind.
Georgia Tech is really interesting. They're second in the ACC in rushing at 164 yards per game, but they don't have anybody over 50 yards per game. That's because Hamilton is also one of those runners. He doesn't average a lot of yards per game, but he's another weapon running the football, as we've seen tonight.
Oh, you love that enthusiasm, too. Quarterbacks, it's going right. Nothing better. 2nd and goal. jumbo formation. Rodgers trying to get up over the top and came down short. Phillip was stopped. It'll be 3rd and goal. Phillip and Sergeant Charlie Rodgers, unrelated, by the way.
Yeah, you talk about this as a game of leverage down the goal line. Look how low the tight end is in his stance coming off the ball there. Rodgers stopped short of the goal line, but they are definitely trying to get under the pads of the Clemson defense.
Very close to breaking the plane there. 3rd and goal. This time the plane is broken for a Phillip Rodgers touchdown. And the Yellow Jackets retake the lead. That ball came free in the end zone, but it was after he crossed the plane.
Take a look now. It's all about leverage, getting underneath the pads, and then the back going up over the top. The linebackers aren't able to get there because the surge. And that was an outstanding drive by the Georgia Tech offense. A good mix of run and pass, option, play action.
Brad Chambers adds his 35th extra point of the season. Clemson goes 72 yards for a touchdown. Tech goes 16 plays, 80 yards, and says, that's our response. That was fun to watch. 16 plays and 80 yards. When you have a lot of options in your offense, you have a lot of choices. It makes it tough for a coach sometimes. Ralph Friedgen hit all the right buttons.
Really did, and plus he's got a little guy that's a little bit magical there playing quarterback too, number 14. It helps when you got a guy like that who can do so many different things. We've seen 2 outstanding drives here to open the second half. There's only 3 minutes left in the 3rd quarter.
Rodney Williams' kickoff is taken by Mal Lawyer. Very hard hit. Flag is down as Lawyer was hit at the 15-yard line. Williams, the kicker, in a little post-kickoff combat with Churchu, the backup fullback. Georgia Tech 4 penalties, Clemson just 2 on the night.
Block in the back on the return team. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Not the hole you need to dig.
Well, take a look here now. This is the kicker, Rodney Williams, on the kickoff. Take a look at him at the end of the play. He's trying to avoid the guy coming directly at him, and he was going to try to go for the head slap and then pull it off at the last minute.
Well, he was a safety in high school, so he's used to more combat than most kicking specialists. Zachary tries to get through the hole. Stopped at the 11th.
Brandon Streeter did a nice job coming out of the locker room and getting a good drive in the 3rd quarter. 8 of 15 now in the ball game. This is another big, important drive for Clemson. They're playing a good football game right now. They're backed up because of the penalty. Need to try to get a couple first downs here and not give Georgia Tech great field position coming right off that last touchdown.
Marcus Martin and Justin Watts, wide receivers in the game for Streeter. Option with Zachary. Georgia Tech's defense doing it now. Nate Stimson leading the charge. This defense has been opportunistic all year.
This is really a good play by Stimson. Here he is right here on the end of the line. Watch him react to the option. He goes in. He's in position to make the play on the quarterback and then comes out onto the back. That's just a good, quick reaction by Nate Stimson. He was there for the quarterback. When the quick pitch came from the quarterback, he ran out and made the play on Zachary.
Both tailbacks are in. Be very careful down here against the Jackets. Holding penalty. This one will come back. Streeter ended up very close to the first down. But a hold on the offensive line. Perhaps Corey Holtze.
Yeah, that's who I think they got, the left guard, number 71.
Georgia Tech wants to check if they are short of the first down or push them back half the distance.
Take a look at this play again. Here's Halsey, number 71. Watch the pass rush now. And there it is. You see the left arm up on the jersey, close to a tackle. And I think that was Stimson again.
Was. They declined the penalty, so it will be 4th down.
Stimson was lined up as a defensive end the play before on the option. That time he was inside as a tackle, rushing over the guard, Holsey. 2 big plays in a row by Nate Stimson.
Number 3, Charlie Rogers.
Kicking from his own 2. Kevin Laird's foot will get into it at about the 5. High kick, but short. Georgia Tech very lucky it didn't hit one of their players on the leg. And it is down by Clemson around midfield. A timeout. Georgia Tech with the ball in good position. Up 3.
We welcome you back to Memorial Stadium in Clemson, South Carolina. Just over a minute to play in the 3rd quarter. We've got a 3-point football game. You know, the last touchdown Georgia Tech scored may have been scored by Philip Rogers, but you got to give a call to Ed Wilder, the sophomore who hurt his right shoulder in the first half. The doctor spent the entire halftime working on it. We're concerned about his ability to hold on to the football. He was a major part of that last Georgia Tech scoring drive. Guys?
Back out there now, Jerry leading for Joe Burns, who busted it outside, but Robert Carswell and Harold Means made the play to keep the freshman back in check. Wilder's a good-sized fullback at 260 pounds and 6'2", and has shown the pass-catching ability that would make him size, hands, and blocking-wise fit into that NFL prototype of fullback that's come back in the league, revolutionized by Darryl Johnston and so on, as we've seen over the last few years. No gain on 1st down. 2nd and 10 for the Yellow Jackets. The speed of Hamilton. The patience of Clemson. Carswell made the tackle, but Jason Holloman was out there. There's a penalty marker, as you see, down on the play.
That was really good work, as you said, Mike, patience by the Clemson defense and maintaining the integrity of the backside of their defense on that bootleg, not giving up the outside contain and forcing Joe Hamilton to turn it back inside. The thing that you don't want with Joe Hamilton is you don't want to let him break contain outside of your defense. All of your pressure needs to come outside and force him to turn in.
On the offense, 10 yards. Repeat, 2nd down.
That's good football talk. They maintain the integrity of the defense. That is integrity maintenance by your defense. We've got to have integrity maintenance tonight, men. I love it. The good thing is it pushes them back for Clemson on to their side of the field after that punt gave Georgia Tech excellent field.
The Yellow Jackets. Ball spotted at the 46.
Clock restarts after the flag. See if Georgia Tech can sneak in the final play of a rapidly played 3rd quarter. Hamilton stands and delivers to Des White. No place to run. He lost about 2 yards, but did pick up 12. It'll be 3rd and about 8 when we come back for the 4th quarter. 2 great opening drives in the 3rd. Brandon Streeter threaded the needle in for a touchdown for Clemson. The Tigers took the lead, but a great Georgia Tech drive led by Wilder and Hamilton has the Jackets up 3 after 3. Now the 4th quarter from Death Valley. Mike Tirico, Todd Blackledge, Dr. Jerry Punch. Georgia Tech leads by 3, facing 3rd down. Joe Hamilton's pass is incomplete, looking for Charlie Rogers in a receiver mode. It'll be 4th down. Stats stay close. Georgia Tech, the longer drive of the 2 scoring drives in that quarter, a bit of an advantage. No turnovers tonight from 2 teams that have been involved in turnovers on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, that's big, particularly for Clemson, because that has been the demise of their season, has been the turnover. Another big stop by the Clemson D.
Good pressure on the Rodney Williams kick, but a penalty marker is down by the kick as Georgia Tech downs it at the 1. Raheem Abdullah was there. He was held on the way in.
I think they'll take this penalty and make Rodney kick it again, because Georgia Tech really pinned him down deep. Make him kick it again rather than start on your own 1-yard line.
Williams is going to have a very good opportunity to be a punter in the NFL. He was pressured by Abdullah.
There's Abdullah right here coming on the outside. Gets a good quick move up the field, and wasn't much of a hold, but good quick rush on the outside by Abdullah.
There was concern. It looked like Williams was brushed. In fact, he was just trying to shorten his leg, just so the punt wouldn't be blocked as Abdullah came busting in there.
This turns out to be a huge penalty for Clemson because that punt was downed on the 1-yard line by Georgia Tech.
And remember, that's a spot of the foul penalty about 9 yards back from the line of scrimmage. You go back another 10. Instead of kicking from the 44, they kicked about 20 yards farther back. Williams had a bad snap to deal with, and Clemson gains 28 yards of field position as Zachary makes the fair catch. Well, as we told you throughout the show, this is an important night for Tommy West, whose record is 2-7. Took this team to 3 consecutive bowl games, but is under heat. And you hear people talk down here, and I'm not just talking talk radio, fringe people, and they say Tommy West is out as coach. It's a very difficult situation to handle.
It's very difficult, you know, and it's unfortunate. I mean, let the guy do his job. I mean, it's hard enough to do his job, hard enough to try to win football games without having to hear that and read it. And like I mentioned earlier, it's toughest on his family. You know, his wife, Lindsay, I mean, at least Tommy gets to come to work and work with friends. I mean, she has to hear it in the grocery store and everywhere she goes around town. Very, very tough on family.
Streeter's pass is caught to Zachary across midfield and to the Georgia Tech 44. They picked up 26 on first down.
That's the kind of play that Brandon Streeter needed, to a throw downfield. This is a perfect throw. Zachary coming out of the backfield. He's on a linebacker there. That's a good matchup. Zachary on Delonte Cameron, and a perfect throw by Brandon Streeter. And look at, he's got a little enthusiasm after that one, because that is a big play to get him across the 50-yard line.
Don't think these players don't sense the importance here, because they have been indicted with their coach. They are playing hard tonight. Incomplete. They will rule that pass for Brian Wofford, who was hit by Jamar Clark, the undersized corner who transferred from Louisville out of Bradenton, Florida.
All right, now Steve Ensminger is going to file that one again, because Jamar Clark, the last time they tried to throw a quick throw to Brian Wofford, he come up and made a similar play. Then they went to pump fake and went by him. And they may not do it right away, but eventually they're going to have to try to come back, because Jamar Clark is breaking quickly on the short routes. A good hit, a good tackle to separate him from the football. A very aggressive play.
2nd and 10. From the jacket 44, they go inside. They'll try to go wide with the fullback Witherspoon, and he doesn't have the speed for that. And the quickness of Jesse Tarplin shows there as he makes the stop. We talked about the heat around Tommy West, the Clemson head coach. When we arrived yesterday, the newspapers had stories about Bobby Robinson, the athletic director, talking to Cincinnati athletic director Bob Goen, one of his friends, about a background check, if you will, on the Tulane coach, Tommy Bout. West had to prepare his team around that aura, with some people saying Danny Ford, the man who won the championship here, should return. Ford is in town this evening as Streeter goes long. Touchdown, Wofford! His 5th of the season, and the Tigers regain the lead.
Brian Wofford clearly over the last 4 weeks has been the big play receiver on the deep ball, and that was a perfect throw by Brandon Streeter, and the speed of Wofford to catch up with the football. Outstanding throw and catch, Streeter to Wofford.
David Richardson adds the extra point. Their coach may be in the headlines, but the players could be writing a story of courage tonight and resiliency. Streeter up top for Wofford. 2nd touchdown pass of the night for Streeter. Tigers lead.
ESPN's presentation of Thursday Night Football is brought to you by Ice House. Ice brewed so there's never any watered-down taste. And by Circuit City. Answers in every department. Low prices all over the store.
Oh, it's known as Death Valley, but across a serene site, beautiful Lake Hartwell here in Clemson, South Carolina. Population 11,000 except on game days and nights. Fans who have shown up supporting their Tigers, who now lead by 4. The freshman Burns told by Des White to take a knee after the Streeter touchdown pass put Clemson ahead by 4.
Mike, I want to go back to the touchdown and show you what happened here. The route is just a double post, all right? There's 3 defenders for 2 receivers, but watch the safety right here, Brian Wilkins. He's going to get caught looking at the inside guy, and right there, as he turns and looks back at the inside guy, he can't react to get back to Wofford and make the play. He's beat at that point. He doesn't have over-the-top coverage, and it's a perfect throw by Brian Streeter. There were 2 guys there, but he couldn't make the play.
Hamilton tries to start a response, and he hits Des White very close to first down yardage. 2 big plays on that drive, the 48-yarder to Wofford, closing it out. Clemson quickly moved down the field, something they haven't done much of this year.
2 scoring drive for Clemson. Brendan Streeter 4 of 6 on both of those drives, so he's throwing the football here real well in the second half.
First and 10. After the pass to White, Hamilton runs option with Charlie Rogers. Into the secondary and pulled down from behind at the 44. It was Terry Jolly stopping the gain at 13.
Another option for Georgia Tech. A little difference on this one. They've been running option to the weak side, to the open side. This time they ran it to the tight end side. The same thing, though, with the fullback, Wilder getting that important lead block. But that time they ran it to the tight end side, to the wide side of the field, and they got a good game.
After Jolly was brought down by Rogers, Hamilton goes up top. Deep for Des White. Step for step with them coverage-wise was Alex Ardley. There was a little bit of an opening there.
Well, they've had this play a couple times, Mike. I mean, the safety has gone away, so there's no help in the middle of the field. Joe Hamilton has what he wants and just hasn't been able to connect with his favorite target, Des White. That time he overthrew Des White. Des White's dropped 1 or 2, and they just have not been able to connect, but the play has been there, no question.
White had 243 yards receiving against Virginia. Out of the game for 2nd and 10. Big hit on the tight end, but Matt Vay did hold on. DeMarco Fox is number 12. He and Keith Adams had a meeting at the tight end. Some youth in there for Clemson. Adams is a freshman. The injury to Jones has forced more playing time for 27 tonight. 3rd and 3. They have to get over the Clemson 47 for a first down. Hamilton to Charlie Rogers. He fought forward and is going to be real close to the first down.
You know, Charlie Rogers is a very elusive guy, can make plays and make people miss, but he only weighs 180 pounds. Plus, he's got a little bad shoulder right now, so he's not going to be able to fight for a lot of extra yardage. They get him the football quickly, but the fast pursuit of Clemson's defense, you see Charlie Rogers really isn't able to break any tackles or stretch out for that first down. But got awful close.
Again, 3 or 4 lengths short. And Georgia Tech will go for it again on 4th down. And one thing I like about what George O'Leary has done in these situations, he's decided right away to go for it. There hasn't been that hesitation that forces a timeout call.
Well, your offense has been your strength this year. It's the top scoring offense in the ACC. And nobody in the conference has really stopped them flat out.
Who moved? Was there a hiccup by Georgia Tech to draw Clemson off?
No, I think there was contact made in the neutral zone by Clemson, so it'll be offsides against Clemson.
Offside on the defense. 5 yards. First down.
Nice job of the Georgia Tech offensive line holding their water in here. Watch the motion now. They're going to go back and forth with the motion, and that's what distracts the Clemson defense. Take a look. They bring the motion across. Now, as he turns and comes back, that's what distracts the Clemson offense, or the Clemson defense. It's a lot of motion on that particular play, and that caused the offsides penalty.
Virgil Johnson running backwards and forwards and backwards. Doesn't look like a huge part of the offense, but pays a dividend there. Hamilton still driving. He and White Todd continue to be off. Todd's off to New York to join John Saunders Saturday in the studio for ABC's College Football. Tremendous slate of games. Nebraska at Manhattan. The Little Apple will be rocking for that one. UCLA, Washington. UCLA going to find a way to survive again. Ohio State, Iowa in the Big Ten. How do the Buckeyes bounce back? North Carolina plays Virginia. The Cavaliers try to stay at the 2-loss spot in the ACC. Check your local listings for your game or the ESPN game plan to get them all. Hamilton option. The man to tackle Hamilton had to come across the field. 6-yard pickup for Joe. It was DeMarco Fox who was shaken up, taking him down.
I want to show you something, Mike, why this play action off the option is open. See the safety here? On the option, he has to run up here and make a play. He's responsible to get there on the option play. So because he has a responsibility against the option on the quarterback, he can't be there for the play action pass when Joe Hamilton takes the option. That's why they've had it set up to throw the deep ball to Des White. They just haven't connected on it.
3rd and 4. 2 reserve DBs in the game for Clemson because of injury. The Tigers still bring pressure and get a sack of Hamilton. Abdullah and Adams.
Mike, they've blitzed only 2 times on defense, and both times they've gotten a sack out of it. They've been very conservative. They've not really gotten a lot of pressure on Joe Hamilton, but for the second time in the ball game, they brought inside pressure. A little twist by the linebackers. Oh. And just a great effort play coming up over the top by Raheem Abdullah.
Rodney Williams to punt. This one was not his best effort. He worked so hard at directional kicking and hang time. Didn't work there. Clemson defense holds. Tigers lead by 4. Tigers feeling good. Leading by 4, so they're taking over different things. That tiger, you know that tiger paw that you see? The person who invented that invented the United Airlines saying of fly the friendly skies. Same guy invented both things. 1st and 10 from the 16. Streeter to the air. Skies not friendly on the pass to Lawyer.
Brandon Streeter has come out of the locker room in the second half and really done a nice job. Here's the first touchdown pass. Stuck the quick slant in there. The nice throw to Zachary out of the backfield. A good down-the-field play. And then the bomb to Wofford for the touchdown. Perfectly thrown. But they've really gotten after the Georgia Tech defense by throwing the football here in the second half. That was a play there that Mal Lawyer should have caught. It was a good throw by Streeter.
Leading by 4, but still out of the gun with 3 wides. They run Zachary. The umpire, George Burton, took a tough shot, but he gets back up. As Zachary's a yard short of the first down. Well, the quarterback numbers, Hamilton comes in as the touted guy, but it's Streeter who has the 2 touchdown passes tonight.
Brandon Streeter has been on a roll in this offense out of the shotgun the last couple weeks. Joe Hamilton has not looked sharp throwing the football tonight, no question.
And he hasn't been as sharp the last few games.
No.
3rd and 1. Wofford in motion. Zachary, first down and more. Travis Zachary's running hard. 13 yards there. And Chris Edwards pulled him down. 95 yards now for Zachary on the night.
Clemson felt like they had a better matchup inside with their center and their guards against the tackles and the middle linebacker of Georgia Tech. Most of their good running plays have come up inside. Nice job by Zachary following the lead block of Witherspoon. Travis Zachary, one of the 4 Georgians on the starting lineup for Clemson, enjoying his evening tonight so far.
From under center, Zachary might throw. Does throw. Flag.
Mike, normally when you call a halfback pass and there's that much hesitation before he throws the football, something bad always happens for the offense. That's one that it's usually wide open and you throw it right away. And normally...
Pass interference on the defense. 15 yards. Previous spot. First down.
Normally if you hesitate, you should run the football. But in this case, he hangs it up there, and Travaris Tillman with the early contact on the receiver, Marcus Martin. You know, Travaris Tillman got away with one early in the ball game, one that could have been called interference on him for a similar play. He made early contact. That time they made the call on it.
Zachary was not a quarterback in high school, but did throw 3 passes for 95 yards. First and 10, Clemson in Georgia Tech territory. Fullback Witherspoon for a yard.
See, now one thing you're also thinking about here, if you're Tommy West and the Clemson offense, you're thinking, let's work the clock and let's do it smartly. I mean, let's use as much of the clock as we can without losing our aggressiveness. So let's not waste time in the huddle, but let's make sure we're using that full play clock and still run our offense, but let's not give the ball back to Georgia Tech with a lot of time on the clock. They have the lead. Now they can play the clock a little bit.
Clemson has not run it well this year, but Georgia Tech gives up more running yards than all but one team in the ACC. Streeter will go down. That will be credited as a Delonta Cameron sack. It will be 3rd down. Saturday, right after game day. Noon Eastern. Cancel plans. Lock it in. Biggin in the big house. Ron Dane and undefeated Wisconsin at Michigan. Badgers win. They win the Big Ten. Noon Eastern on ESPN.
Mike, I don't think that Clemson doesn't have to necessarily score on this drive, but I don't think they'll win the football game if they don't score again in the ball game. It's 21-17 right now with 6:45 left. But I think they're going to need to score again if they want to win.
3rd and 12. Streeter going to keep it. Did not have any room to get out of the way of Travaris Tillman. It will be 4th down. May have been the wisest decision. This punt will come off inside 6 minutes.
Take a look at the top now. Brian Wofford, as the quarterback scrambles, watch as he tries to turn upfield. Jamar Clark just knocks him down. Looked like he wrapped around and knocked him down. No call on the play.
Kevin Laird. Charlie Rogers. What a hit. 3 yards on the return. 32-yard punt. 4-yard kick. The big hit by Darius Rafley. George O'Leary's team down 4. Offensive coordinator Ralph Friedgen in the Georgia Tech offense. Long field to go, Todd Blackledge.
Well, the play is there still is the play action off the option. They go just quick out to Des White there, but the play that is there for them is the play action deep ball off the option.
Important to this game, Georgia Tech with a victory here and a victory next Saturday in their last ACC game against Wake Forest will be no worse than 7-1. Florida State at best could be 7-1. They'd share the ACC title. Florida State would get the bowl championship series berth, obviously, but still it would be a shared conference title for Tech. And anytime you do that in the Florida State era, it says a lot. They run on 2nd and short, and will be close to the 1st down on the Joe Burns carry. Donald Broomfield, senior out of Florida, made the stop.
We talked to one of the, some of the players at Georgia Tech on Tuesday, Jerry Caldwell, one of their defensive backs, an older guy who, when he first got here in '94, they were 1-10, and just the idea of going from that to possibly being a co-champion in the ACC in his final year, that's quite a legacy, something special to be a part of for these upperclassmen.
First down from the 30. Hamilton looking long. Des White laid out, couldn't hang on. And that's the catch he makes best, the over-the-shoulder grab. Well, that really wasn't your perfect over-the-shoulder type catch.
No, it was a tough catch. Joe Hamilton had to get rid of this under duress. Now they go play action and watch the hit by Dingle. Maybe had to throw a little early. Now the difference on this play is he goes to double move on Ardley, but Ardley has help coming over the top from the safety. He's not there in time to make the play, but Des White again is having a real struggle tonight trying to catch the football.
2nd and 10, deflected. Incomplete. Donald Broomfield's hands got on it. Mike Sheridan knows that hit the ground first. Trying to buy one.
What we've seen on this series so far is what we have not seen all game from Clemson, and that is some good pass rush and some pressure on Joe Hamilton without bringing a blitz. Dingle got the hit on him the play before that. They were able to get their hands up in the face of Joe Hamilton on the 2nd down play.
3rd and 10. They may not be 80,000, but they are loud in Death Valley. Hamilton pressure. Incomplete. A late flag comes down.
Real late flag.
They're going to call polite 34 for pass interference. If you read the referee's lips, Tommy West says the ball was tipped. Contact should be allowed.
On the defense. Spot foul. First down.
Oh, my goodness.
Clemson's had some tough calls go against them, and the tip ball point is a legitimate one. And I've got to tell you, folks, I looked for a flag first and didn't see it. It was extraordinarily late.
Well, let's see if this ball is tipped. Clemson came with the blitz, and Joe Hamilton is flushed out of the pocket. The ball at that point was not tipped, and there's the contact by Dexter Polite.
That's not a wrong call.
No,
that's not a wrong call.
It's a good call.
And you can see why they thought it was tipped the way it came out.
Yeah, he was hit as he threw, but it was not tipped when it left his hand.
The drive stays alive. Hamilton options to Charlie Rogers, who turns the corner across midfield for a first down. And look at the aggravation of Tommy West. You're 2-7. They want your job. They say you're out. People talk about your players, your coaches, and the frustration mounts. Then you think you have them stopped. You get a flag that was accurate, but they don't know that right now. And then your defense gives up a play of 19 yards.
Mike, they are set up for that option pass again now. They just ran the option with some success. Let's see when they come to it.
Same play. Knocked out at the 42, but they're getting yards on these options. Harold Means with the push out.
Again, the reason that option pass is going to be effective and is open every time is because the free safety, DeMarco Fox, has to come up on the run play and take the quarterback in the option. That leaves the whole middle of the field open and allows Des White to work one-on-one. They just have not been able to connect on it for a completion, but it's been open the entire ball game.
Fox comes out. Michael Allen in his place. Fox was dinged up on that last series.
Long time to call this play in the huddle.
I'll say the Clemson coaching staff is really laying into the officials. Little reverse, and it will be a pass by Mike Sheridan. Incomplete.
White may get off the plane in Atlanta and go right to the practice field to those plastic footballs that are on the bungee cord on the practice field, because he just is really struggling tonight catching the football. He just doesn't look comfortable trying to catch the football. He's a very hard worker. He puts a lot of time in working on his catching ability, but he's having a little confidence problem tonight, no question. Without the Thorpe candidate, D.B. Edwards, can the DB stop him again on 3rd and 5? Flags are down. Sheridan may have gone up the field early. Hamilton's upended, short of the first down. When I said Sheridan may have gone up the field early, he was the receiver in motion. And he did. Interesting dilemma here. It's going to be 4th and a yard. Do you push them back and make it 3rd and 10? Yes, they will.
Illegal motion on the offense. 5 yards. Previous spot. Repeat 3rd down.
Well, you can see Sheridan clearly had turned his momentum upfield before the ball was snapped. And that's where the infraction came in. Want to time that so he can hit it on the run and not get too far past the formation. But the loud noise here may have affected that play a little bit too. Couldn't hear the snap count very well.
3rd and 10. Hamilton. Sack! On 4th down.
Take a look at the coverage on Des White. Alex Ardley has been picked off some this year, but he's in good position there on Des White. Here's the other side of the formation. Man-to-man coverage. A little help inside on Charlie Rogers. And then the good pass rush up by the front 7.
Now Rodney Williams will try to pin Clemson deep. Both teams have all 3 timeouts remaining. Play clock has expired.
Dead ball. Delay of the game on the offense. 5 yards. 4th down.
Don't know if they were considering a little wrinkle there. 9th penalty for Georgia Tech on the night. 95 yards of penalties as well. Not a great kick here by Williams. Zachary took it on the run and goes down at the 25. Brought it back 3 yards. After a kick of 36, Clemson, 3:01 left, a 4-point lead.
Take a look now, coming from the outside of your screen, Raheem Abdullah. Watch the quick pressure from the outside. 53 slips right inside the tight end, Matt Vay, and he's in there to make the play on Joe Hamilton. A great outside rush by Raheem Abdullah.
2 terrific sack teams have done the job in crunch time. Zachary stopped. Will Georgia Tech stop the clock? Yes, they will, using the first of their 3 timeouts. Inside of 3 minutes, Tommy West trying to prove that this team has not quit. They've done that tonight. Dan Patrick and Bill Pito are making their way down to Studio A at the World Headquarters. Sports Center's coming up. An Elway update. John's status for the Monday Nighter against Kansas City on ABC. The finalists for the Butkus Award and the signings in baseball. Peter Gammon's coverage from Florida continues after we're done here. After no gains, 2nd and 10. Out of the shotgun. They run the fullback Witherspoon. It will be 3rd and 8. Another Georgia Tech timeout. Only 11 seconds have run off the clock here in this drive. They step out with him. A tough play call coming up here for Tommy West and the Tigers. 3rd and 9. Todd Wise, 3rd and 9 in this situation, a difficult play call.
Well, it's a difficult play call because there's 2 minutes and 45 seconds left, and even though Joe Hamilton is struggling a little bit, he's not sharp, he still has the ability to beat you. I think Clemson needs to try to get a first down here. That's why it's a tough call.
Tech brings pressure. Streeter's line picked it up. Looking for Lawyer. Incomplete. 4th down. Well, Joe Hamilton's going to get his hands back on the ball in all likelihood with 1 timeout. What will the field position be like? Kevin Laird into punt. Charlie Rogers back to return. He's 5th in the nation in punt return yardage, but he's been held in check tonight. Laird's kick, returnable. Hook to 36. Clemson's done a very good job of covering kicks tonight. Tackle at the 43 by Churchu.
Go back to the 3rd down play, Mike. Now it's 3rd and 9. They run the out to Wofford, and Mel Lawyer's running the deep post. All he needs is 9 yards for the first down. Brandon Streeter elects to go for the deep one rather than the out for the first down to Wofford. A much tougher throw going down the field to Mal Lawyer. Both guys had single coverage. Maybe would have been better off going to try to get the first down to the sideline.
So here's Georgia Tech, an offense that scored over 30 every game this year with the Florida State game. Now trying to get in the 20s. Pass for Sheridan is complete. A chain moving 11 yards. Mike Sheridan, senior out of Long Island, Massapequa, New York. That's George O'Leary's home neighborhood where his high school coaching career got started on Long Island.
Now the pressure falls to Reggie Herring, the defensive coordinator of Clemson. Do you bring pressure on Joe Hamilton or do you play back?
Incomplete through the hands of the good pass-catching fullback, Ed Wilder. Joe's numbers will not indicate a complete story of his night. He hasn't played great, but of his 14 incompletions, there have been 4 or 5 catchable balls.
Yeah, I mean, Des White's had a couple catchable balls, but he has not looked as sharp as he normally looks. But he is a fierce competitor, and he loves to win. That's why I'd love to have the ball in his hands at this point in the game.
2nd and 10. Another drop. Burns, the freshman. 3rd and 10 in 4-down territory, right?
Yeah, you're in 4-down territory.
So you play call a little different here, don't you?
Well, yeah, you don't necessarily have to try to get the whole thing on this play if you're looking at 2 plays to get 10 yards. Joe Burns, they feel he has good hands, but a little lack of concentration by the freshman on that play.
Charlie Rogers, 1st down and more. Makes a nice cut. Still on his feet to the 19-yard line. 28 yards. Ah, what a big play.
Charlie Rogers just kind of got lost. Now he's right up here in the slot, and the motion kind of distracts Clemson's defense. Think the play is going that way. It's a crossing route, and nobody picks up Charlie Rogers coming off that wing.
Hamilton. Des White caught that one at the 3. 1st and goal with 1:45 left.
Des White has had a very rough night, but he's a hard worker and he's sticking with it, and he makes the catch, a sure catch that time, as timeout is called now by Georgia Tech.
They take their last one with 1:44 in a season that has been difficult for Tommy West because of the coaching status that we've talked about. The 2-7 is not representative of the quality of this team. You've seen that tonight, and you've seen it throughout the year, because there have been close calls and close losses. They come off one with North Carolina State last week. But let's go back to the Virginia game when the Cavs kicked a field goal in the final minute for a 2-point setback. A couple of weeks after that, playing North Carolina, driving for a would-be tying score, fumbling through the end zone, the Tar Heels got a rare ACC win by 7. And last week against NC State, or 10 days ago, the Wolfpack scored as Torrey Holt went nuts in the second half. A final minute score by NC State gave Mike O'Kane's team a 46-39 win over his alma mater. So Clemson's seen this happen before, and it just spells what's happened this year for Tommy West.
Well, George O'Leary and Ralph Regent elected to call the timeout at that point, their last timeout. Normally you want to try to save one timeout, but what they wanted to do is just go ahead and get everything cleared up right now before this 1st and goal play. They've got plenty of time. They can actually think now of not only scoring, but using some clock, too, so that when Clemson does get the football back, they don't have enough time to do anything with it. Look for a quarterback draw here out of this set.
Hamilton does draw. Hamilton dives to the goal line and is just short.
You know, I love this little guy. I really do. The guy is a fierce competitor, and even though he has had a rough night and he's probably not even 100% physically tonight, here in the last 2 minutes of the game belongs to him. That's why he is the man in the ACC this year.
Second down. If they don't score, Clemson better take a timeout. They're not going to have much time to get the ball back. Joe Burns, no signal. Now they say touchdown. Wow.
Watch the effort by Joe Burns, the freshman. Stopped at the point of attack. Watch the second effort as he gets the football over the goal line. Great second effort by the freshman out of Thomasville, Georgia.
Brad Chambers' extra point is good. Georgia Tech rallies to take the lead.
Let's go, man. Let's go.
One more adversity test for the Clemson Tigers in '98. If you're just surfing over for SportsCenter, Dan Patrick, Bill Pito standing by. All the scores. We'll say all the scores and highlights, but the NHL scores and highlights from today. Maybe a stray college hoop game, but the story tonight in sports has been Georgia Tech coming back. Great job by Joe Hamilton on that final drive. Good job.
Guy makes plays. You know, he finds a way to get it done. He hangs in there with Des White. His #1 receiver has had a rough night tonight. It's been a rough night for that guy tonight, too, Tommy West. What an emotional night to see his team play as well as they played. Only to see it kind of slip away here at the end.
Yeah, all you people who say Tommy West should get him out of there at Clemson, and you watch tonight, you tell me where there's bad coaching involved with Clemson.
The other thing that stands out to me is if kids stop playing hard, if they kind of mail it in or lay down, then that's one thing. And that reflects poorly on a coach. But when kids continue to fight and play hard, that speaks pretty positively of a coach and his ability to hold the ship together. And that's one thing that certainly I think is true of Tommy West at Clemson right now.
Rodney Williams' kickoff comes to Mal Lawyer from the 5. Lawyer found some room, but then found some Yellow Jackets at the 15. Jerry punts.
Well, there's a shot of the diminutive Joe Hamilton. People talk about how small he is. You know, he's listed as 5'10", 185. We talked to him at Georgia Tech on Tuesday, and I asked him, I said, Joe, really, how tall are you? And without cracking a smile, he said 6'1½". Well, he may be 6'1½" standing on the football. Against North Carolina, one of the NFL scouts told Ralph Regent, you better be glad he's not 3 inches taller. You probably wouldn't have him back next year.
Now it's Brandon Streeter's turn. Probably has to take his team 55 yards. Mal Lawyer gets some of it, but is inbounds, clock running.
The one thing Brandon Streeter has, he has all 3 of his timeouts. He's got to get these guys to the huddle, to the line of scrimmage, get them moving quickly. They're down around 35 seconds now. Probably have to use a timeout here pretty soon.
2nd and 3. First down to Lawyer. Clock will stop the 35.
Clock stops while they set the chains. 25, 26 seconds. Now, they only need a field goal. They don't have to score a touchdown here. A field goal will put it into overtime.
David Richardson has kicked a 50-yarder in his career, but on a cool night, you'd think 45 might be a magic number.
Too much time, Mike. They're taking too much time to snap the football.
Streeter in trouble. Sack. Timeout. 10 seconds left. Now 9.
Mike, the problem on that play started, and it just took them too long to snap the football. If they weren't going to call a timeout, they got to get that play snapped as soon as they start the play clock again. They let about 5, 6, 7 seconds run off the clock before they even snap the football, and then a sack is about the worst thing that can happen to you in this situation. Streeter tried to load and get rid of the football and couldn't get it delivered.
Tommy West trying to stop the clock with his team. He asked his kids to do 3 things, and when we asked him, how are you handling this toughest situation of your professional life, he said, the same way I asked the kids to. Don't blame each other, stick together, don't give up. You've seen that they have not given up tonight. And it's the hardest thing to do because it's one of those seasons, everything Georgia Tech has done this year has smelled right.
Yeah.
Everything Clemson has done this year has gone wrong. And it's hard to get out of the way of things like that because you can't put a finger on exactly why.
You know, and it's you go back to when Clemson had the football with about 7 minutes left in the ball game, and they were right around the 50-yard line, and it made the point that they were going to need to score again because you just had that feeling that Georgia Tech was going to score, that Joe Hamilton was going to get them in the end zone some way.
Now here's where you have to be thinking. You need about 40 yards to get a field goal attempt, or 20 yards as quickly as possible to take 1 shot at the end zone on a Hail Mary.
Well, that last play really hurt them time-wise. They had 3 timeouts, and they took a long time to snap the ball. The play didn't go off on time because he scrambled a little bit.
They just put 3 seconds back on the clock. That's why there was the delay. The officials were clearing that up. 12 seconds left. Streeter heaves it. Jump ball. Incomplete. 6 seconds to go. Our E-Trade players of the game, the quarterbacks. Joe Hamilton, 3 of 5 on that decisive drive. Part of his night of 227 total yards of offense. And for Clemson, Brandon Streeter led a very efficient touchdown drive the start of each half. 6 seconds left, and now you need something out of the ordinary to happen. We're 5 yards closer to making the impossible happen. There was offensive line movement before the snap, but we think it was induced by Georgia Tech's defense.
Offside on the defense, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
This is Clemson's last conference game. They close on the deuce next Saturday, their rivalry against South Carolina. Georgia Tech plays Wake Forest next. Streeter just buying some space to let it go. And Georgia Tech survives.
Georgia Tech 24.
Joe Hamilton leads Georgia Tech on a great comeback. And Tommy West said, if we're going to leave, we leave with class. That's what he's trying to impress upon his players at this heated, emotional moment. Tommy West's job's on the line. Many people say he's out. But one thing his team did was not quit Even though they were 2-7, they came very close and were very effective tonight. But Joe Hamilton, Little Joe, got the job done, leading a game-winning touchdown drive for Georgia Tech as they beat Clemson 24-21. With Todd Black, legendary punch, Mike Tirico. Thanks for watching this presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Now, here's SportsCenter.